show.
Heroclix makes me a little bit sad right now. I miss it. I miss it so much. I'm a very tactile person.
The absence of Clixnexus.
There's 3D figures, and I want the 3D figure things out. And I miss Clix. I miss seeing you guys.
Hey Jay, remember that thing I told you? I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Yep.
Guess what it was?
I don't know.
Sharing the
We're
link.
live. Sharing the link.
That's what the opposite.
So we can be as live as we want to be. And the only people who know this are the ones who are smart enough to subscribe and put on the notifications. Thank you
After
guys
bell.
for listening right now.
Yeah, if you're not, then get together.
I hear this is how the big shows do it. They don't have any advertising.
Very exclusive. We don't tell anybody.
That's it. Word of mouth.
I'll be back.
Better.
Oh, that was good. I love some Notorious B.I.G. there, my friend. That was wonderful. I can always trust them. Honestly, that is my favorite part about Heroclix road trips when I know both Tom and I are going, is that there'll be a constant barrage of, that's a lyric in a song, and I'm going to sing it for you right now. Whether you want it to happen, whether you want it to happen or not, I'm about to sing that song for you.
It is one of the beautiful things about road trips with Tom is road trip karaoke.
It's we have a nice rapport in that way.
Yeah,
we're both always we'd be like your phone a friend, name that tune people.
Yeah, it's like I got to phone a friend and it's about music and I think it's going to be Tom.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a short list. Mike's on that.
I mean,
I look for a picture of the other two.
Was it Philadelphia where he was like, "Hey, this is the home of doo-wop music," and I was like, "Tom, nobody asked."
I loved on the Elvis tour how you and I we were so into every Elvis song, and it was like, oh my God, I really know a lot of Elvis songs. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's because they're everyone else's.
I loved the John Stamos.
I remember commenting in the comments of the tour that I was happy that John Stamos had work.
I think John Stamos is happy that John Stamos has work. He's a beautiful man, though, so he doesn't really need the work now, does he?
I love how pimped out the entire place was. It was so 70s chic. I didn't remember that at all.
I know. I said how I wanted to go back in time and hang out with Elvis. It looked like his house parties were the most boss house parties you've ever seen.
Yeah. And we were all more excited about the pinball machine than literally anything else.
At least the room with the pinball machine, because we were like, dude, look at that table. You could play Heroclix on that table, and look how comfy it would be.
I was really sad, I guess, now that I think about it, not getting to see Scott D'Agostino seeing the pinball machine, because I know he's really into them. That must have been really cool.
Well, do you remember when we were in the squash court, the racket court? We were all like, yeah, we could set up a little Heroclix thing in here.
Yeah,
every room was, how could we play Heroclix?
Just complete losers. How can we convert this cool room into a place to play with our toys?
Right.
Which is a great way to segue into the fact that this episode has been going for 5 minutes.
Nice.
Right. Well, I hope that I hope that people like the
there.
content, because it's not getting better from here.
I was gonna say this is the limits of talking about Heroclix right now. It's remembering things we did related to Heroclix.
We were allowed to leave our homes.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by the letter Q for quarantine.
Before the dark times.
I mean, I swear to God, I log out of work and I start doing this. Walk. I can go for a walk now. I've never related to a dog more in my life, aside from the hair, of course. I've always related in that way.
I was going to say, furry and enjoying being covered in blankets. So, dog is.
Only the way I curl up in them and just, and the way I twitch when I sleep. And Tom, how you doing?
Oh, fine. I'm very distracted. I'm busily trying to make us prepared for our final segment.
All right.
Otherwise, I'm great. I am indoors. I'm in my home office. Work is continuing, which is more than some people can say, so I'm grateful for that. And I'm hoping for some I'm hoping for non-negative developments in that area. And other than that, we're keeping on keeping.
All right. And Mike, how you doing?
I go into my garage and I stand there and I look at the shelves of Heroclix and I remember and I cry and I cry. Do you remember the time we would play some clicks? It was great, and I just honestly, it's tough to be in this moment because it is, like I've said, it's a 3D game, and I love the figures. I mean, that's part of what got me into clicks, right? Is you love seeing them on the map and how it all looks and all that. So, Roll20 is cool and all, but it's not quite. It's not drawing me in quite the same way because I need, if it was more visual maybe or something. I don't know.
It's definitely not the same.
Yeah, and I think what's hard too is because it's almost this feeling of like, when am I going to play HeroClix again? I don't know what I'm building with. Like, do I keep playing around with the pre-rotation stuff and practice those teams? Am I going to get some games in before? Because I know that we've got Rock Provincials here was moved to June 6th.
Well, that was a placeholder.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know for sure if that's even going to happen. So it's such a hard time to even think about clicks almost. You know what I mean? Like when I go to start team building, I'm like, I really don't know what to do. Am I still leaving 25 points for IDs and map bonuses, or am I ignoring that? You know what I mean? Like, so my weekend clicks is, I don't know. It's a little sad, and I'm not trying to bum everybody out because I know everybody's struggling too. I think also it's tough up here because I had to watch 18, 19 some odd Scott unboxing videos.
I get your fix.
And that's it. We can't get our product. Like I pre-ordered mine, and it would be shipped here if anybody was actually working at the store to put it in a thing to send it to me. Like,
or if they even had it, yeah.
Right. So I guess that's it. It's the hardest time. Like, there's no way to fill the void in any way, shape, or form. So my weekend clicks is bleak.
Do they have a patch for that, or
no?
Bleak clicks. Hey Scott, let other people buy their stuff, man. Jeez,
I know,
stores are
Scott,
allowed to sell this. Let them sell it to other people.
If he really wants to make people happy, what he should do is randomly send boosters to people, and then they have to shoot a short video of themselves opening the booster and what they get. Come on, now.
Why not?
Yeah, right.
That's quality.
Or, film some games with it. Oh wait, people are asking me to do that.
Yeah, I know. Get on that.
Yeah, it's just I'm yes, I have played a little bit of HeroClix this week, and we will be sharing that eventually this week. The editing schedule, of course, is what it is. That's the hard part. So always think every 10 minutes of game that you guys see on this channel, it's 40 minutes of editing time, so give us a break. Getting all those visuals on the screen is not easy.
Well, yeah, like all the details, like bringing in like the text of every standard power, like there's a lot of the high details there.
Timing it correctly and everything like that. Although I think the easiest video, at the same time the most monotonous video I've ever edited, was that Krakoa versus Krakoa one. I started, and you can see the slow descent into madness that I had while I was editing that, because it was just the same powers over and over again. I started having, because they were playing Krakoa versus Krakoa on Krakoa, so I would start giving Krakoa a mind of its own, the map of Krakoa. It's like, you guys stop it up there. That said, yes, we do have a game ahead. Justice League Unlimited stuff. It's Justice League versus the Injustice League. It was a ton of fun, and I have new appreciation for certain figures in the set, to say the least. But you guys will see that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I get that ready for you guys by Thursday. And I don't want to promise anything. That's just fingers crossed, best guess. So don't ask again. You know who you are, Andrew.
well, he does now for sure.
Ooh,
Who doesn't?
Oh, geez.
Jay, you went and kicked some booty and went chewing bubblegum, and you ran out of bubblegum. So tell us all about that, man.
Apologies now for my camera I just my internet's not great right now, so any amount of extra strain I can take off of it is helpful to make sure that Canadian internet does not rear its ugly head. I ended up playing a bunch of Rock Online over the past couple of weeks, and I'm playing again tomorrow. I guess I'll play. I guess this is kind of a plug, but with the winner maps now, they've started adding more maps to the prize pool based on how many people are joining. So you don't necessarily have to win the winner map, which is a interesting misnomer now, I guess. But
are they still capped? Are they still capped at 8 for the regular?
No, I think we had one at 14 last week.
Oh wow! So
yeah, which I think was adding. They added. I think it's like they have to run at least 6. They have to have at least 6 people to run the event, and I think it's for every extra 4 people they add one in. So there would have been 3 maps there.
I wonder if they're just going to be any more tomorrow then.
Yeah, I'm already registered for tomorrow.
I thought it was sold out, but I'll check again.
Well, even if it is, they will generally add people. I don't know what they're actually capping it at, but yeah. So in chronological order, I played the 17th of March. Was that I guess that was the Tuesday. I played a win a map. This was 4 rounds. My first round was against Joe. I don't want to mispronounce his last name. Joe G. I think he's the only person with such a last name. Guli. I don't want to mispronounce it.
No, you should.
Go on. No, not going there. Sorry, buddy. At that point, I was playing. I've basically been on this one team concept. It's changed slightly over time, but the basic concept right now is a bunch of Floras, a bunch of other Colossals, and Lockjaw Q, Mr. Oz, Tank, IDs. At that point, I think it was 3 Floras, 2 Groots, Dark Phoenix, and then the normal size characters. But basically, the idea is that it's a rock event, so Flashpoint Flood map is good because you can have Flora starting in water terrain. And Tom is just trying to contain his rage at hearing about Floras at all.
Flora's on that stupid map.
It's kind of your fault though, because I just remember that one when we were coming back from the New York WKU one, and just hearing how much you hated them just really convinced me of how good they are. So no, but really, Floras are great. But yeah. So at that point, so my round 1 game was against Joe, who was playing Jason Wingard, Double Surtur, Black Adam, who ended up picking up Remaker, and Ultron at 50. I can't remember if he had an equipment. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of different games. I won map and picked Flashpoint Flood all but 1 game. And generally, the turn 1 play is TK up, Lockjaw. Oz does his Voop up with the TK. Colin Jean, blow up an object, up on points. Turn 2. Because of the spacing of the squares, I go from Lockjaw goes from click or from square 2 to 8 to 10 with the poof with the TK. Then the next turn, I can call in Danger Room Magneto with exactly enough squares to shoot into the starting area to shoot 2 Colossals and pushing to click 2 for prob along the way. And this team fills up literally the whole. I can't remember which is the row and which is the column, but basically I expand completely to the side on both sides of the starting area. So no opposing walking woods is cool. But basically in this game, that's what I did. I think I ended up killing the Surturs. He ends up moving up. He equips. I remember he basically at one point went in for a big 100-point Iceman salvo. Killed a couple Colossals, but then just missed with a 14 attack or something at one point. Jason, I don't remember doing anything. I think I managed to KO him fairly quickly. I can't remember exactly how, but if I recall correctly, the game ended with Black Adam by himself, calling in a couple IDs, but I was tying him down with like Walking Woods and stuff. So that was definitely a lot of luck-based stuff on his end. Round 2 was against... I guess it's Constantine. I don't know what this person's pronunciation was. He was playing Cosmic as well. Astronomer, Captain Marvel at 95, Groot, Dark Phoenix, Oz, and then the Black Widow from Black Panther with the one that has the Space Gem trait, but without the trait. I guess just because she's cheap, Cosmic Perplex.
Yeah.
I guess
It's a thing.
I yeah, technically a thing. I end up. His Captain Marvel ends up killing my Q with her ping damage, even though I tried to position my awesome plasticity Wonder Woman. Oh no, yeah, I forgot to mention. At this point, I was running a skyscraper Wonder Woman. Just deal with potential ancient hold blocking and stuff like that. So he manages to kill my Q. I end up having just a lot of not terrible dice, but just enough to be missing because Astronomer has the TK and then they get +1 defense thing. He has Perplexed Chewy. He has a bunch of probs. So I end up just getting just enough attack rolls in that succeed. Ends up being, I think, according to the win, it was 223 to 123, but it did feel much closer than that just because it took a lot of attacks to take Captain Marvel down between her stop clicks and just missing. So it was not as easy of a game as the score would indicate. Round 3 was against Tyler Spees, which is always a horrifying prospect, except for the fact that he was playing a no-theme team, which was just hilarious.
Well, it's usually a whale of a time, but
yeah. He was playing Paris Gordon won WKO with this team. It was like Low Point, Ultra Ace Thanos, Mandarin, what was it? Jason Wingard, Orange Proteus, and some other figure. Was it some other figure? I can't remember. But basically, he could just do a lot of weird stuff. Like he can deal with power cosmic figures. He can kill Immortal Hulks by turning off Protected Outwit and stuff. Unfortunately, because none of those figures can fly, it kind of affected his mobility a bit. But he ended up popping one of the Chase Robin vehicle pogs to pilot with Jason. I end up tanking. I didn't mention I had the tank. I will do that now. I end up tanking. Jason takes 2 damage from the pilot, from the wrecked vehicle. I get Thanos off his awesome perplex power and whatnot. Tyler ends up going for Chaos ended up coming out and TKing some stuff to try and make some attacks happen. And I believe he also missed with a big Iceman attack. That sounds like I'm forgetting, but I feel like that was what happened to kill my Colossals. But he ends up missing. And at a certain point, he was down to just Thanos fairly quickly, and he ended up conceding. He ended up taking 73 points by killing the tank, I guess a Colossal of some sort, and incidental ID cards. And then my last round was against Lucas Van Holland with his typical Tri-Sentinel shenanigans. I think it was +8 mystical theme, 2 Sentinels, 2 Wendigos, Alex Wilder, Sheriff Strange, Mandarin, maybe some other incidental figure. I ended up beating him on initiative roll by 1, and this is obviously a very dependent on map roll game either way. I end up doing the usual kill 2 Colossals, but I misposition. Okay, I guess I kind of forget what Tri-Sentinel does with the retaliation, just because like it just feels like destroying blocking is more the thing it does. Weirdly enough, and I end up because my Danger Magneto's on a bounty, so it didn't feel like I needed to get him off the map. But he ends up just getting the range to my starting area with a Tri-Sentinel retaliation. He ends up, I think he just kills Q, but it ended up being okay because I think I killed the other Sentinel and a Wendigo, and then I killed the Sentinel that popped over. So he took 30 points, I took 75, so it was a decent trade-off. I'm trying to remember. I think I remember missing a bunch. He just has a lot of good support powers, not dissimilar to Mike's last WKO team with all the Perplex and Alex Wilder and Mandarin picks whatever Alex Wilder doesn't end up getting and whatnot. So, and then the turning point basically comes when I have a Flora heal enough to get to the Charge Quake power, and then Charge Quake kill Sheriff Strange, knocking him back. So that was like a big thing to happen. But it was a very close game. It really came down to I ended up killing or KOing a 40-point Beast Call-In, and that ended up being the exact number of points. Otherwise, we were tied at the end somehow, which is really, really crazy for the top the final game of Win a Map. But
kind of how you always want it to be, right?
Probably, yeah. It was a very good game. I have no complaints about any of those games really, except for poor Tyler. That was rough on him. Then I played another Win a Map round one, I played against. I played against Azareth from Clixnexus. Like I saw his real name on the win. I'm like, who the hell? Oh, Azareth. He is playing Avengers theme with Immortal Hulk. I think 2 Giant Girls. Happy Hogan, 125 point Chase Thor, and maybe some other incidental filler. So basically, I end up KOing some Giant Girls early just to get the lead, even though it gave his Hulk the tokens that he needed. I ended up just doing a lot of really stupid things. I ended up tanking at one point, and he took the points. I didn't count squares properly. I let him KO a Cyclops call in. But then I ended up getting a bunch of points. At one point, I KO'd a Storm because he had obviously a double Storm with Immortal Hulk. I ended up killing the Storm that wasn't on the bounty. And I actually would have killed Hulk on last action with an Iceman call-in free end cap, but they called last action just before I was able to actually do it. This game ended up being 248 to 226. So hell of a game. My next round, I played against, I think, a relatively new young player, Isaac something or other.
Ooh.
Never heard of him before. I don't know.
Probably has a good future.
He's probably, I mean, he beat me, so he must be good. He was playing a very interesting team. He had Kobik, Jason Wingard, Q, and then like other incidental stuff. I just really can't remember. Just, I guess at that point, kind of supporty stuff. He had a Carnage and a Surtur. I end up KOing the Surtur. He ends up he mispositions Q, so I'm able to get launch out a sidestep up, call in the Rachel Phoenix to just poison him to death, which is always just fun when you can be like, hey, your Q is dead. It's fun. It happens more than you'd think. But then he basically has the most insane Jason turn ever. He had at the beginning of the turn, he has a Chaos on a token. So he has Chaos push to death to TK something, or TK Kobik to call in Storm, and then Storm kills a bunch of Colossals with her energy explosions. I position badly. He pushes that Chaos to death, makes another one, has that Chaos attempt to make an attack with the tank on some other Colossals. That misses. And then Jason himself manages to get an attack in. So his 175-point figure managed to do essentially 3 actions in a turn, only one of which counted. It was quite effective. And kind of just fell apart from there. I ended up getting some 75 points or something to 178. And then I played against this other really obscure character, Mr. Peter Bolin. I don't know. Never heard of him. This ended up being the one.
What if he's related to old PJ?
Peter, I think it's Peter J. Bullen?
Something like that. Out of all the games I'm describing today, out of the 16 of them, this is, oh my God, there's 16 of them. He ends up rolling for map, and the roll of map that he gets is such that I need to roll a crit miss to lose map, and I do. But luckily enough, he was playing a typical PJ Soldiers team of a lot of boomerang, foot elites with boomerangs, Agent Coulson, the newer shield officers that get to follow and then do stuff. He puts us on Genosha, which is actually a map I had on my sheet. He predicts that he's going to lose terribly because at that point the team had shifted slightly. I had spoken with Lucas about my team, and he recommended putting Mangog on. And basically Mangog ended up winning the whole game single-handedly. He comes in for a bit of an assault. He kills something or other. I think he killed Q somehow, or he killed one of Oz or Q. I can't remember which. I think it was Q. And then Mangog goes in for hitting the whole shield team of little weenie guys with his retaliation, and ends up at this point, Coulson had picked Prob. I had 2 Probs. I think because Lawjaw picked it. And then I had Oz still. So I need like, I don't know, 7s or something. So the dice ended up being something like 6, 10. Yeah, or I think, what was it? I miss. I prob myself into a hit. He probs me into a 5. I prob myself again. I roll another 5. So that was kind of bad. But then he just ends up never killing Mangog. And then Mangog ends up attacking like basically every single turn. Somehow. And this game went on way longer than you would have thought. He ends up bringing like in a trouble alert and tanking and doing a whole bunch of interesting stuff. But basically it came down to Mangog killing little weenie guys because you're not going to have 10-click impervious soldiers generally. Last round is against Daniel Powell, kind of not ended up being kind of a nothing game on my end. I was just kind of tired at that point. At that point, I had never beaten him. I assumed I was going to lose. I knew going in general that Unimind was a bad matchup for me. It ended up just kind of happening that way. I ended up missing a bunch of stuff. I miss his Skyscraper Wonder Woman a bunch of times. For reference, the Unimind team is now Unimind with Prime Thanos and Isaac, Lockjaw, 2 Floras, and the Skyscraper Wonder Woman. And basically, I missed Skyscraper a bunch early on, and she ends up making like a retaliation and killing some Colossals. Like, she ended up doing way more work than she should have after I just ended up missing her. So I ended up losing to him, but I'm okay with the tournament where I lose to Dan and Isaac. So, and Isaac ended up winning, so that was pretty cool for him. And then I played 2 days ago. Now I played the online qualifier because now they're really trying to pump out more big online events. Round 1, I played against Josh Essex. I'm sure a lot of people know him from Snaggles Gaming. Is his YouTube channel, and he has a Facebook page and stuff. He's playing the Dan Powell Unimind team. What happened? He basically ends up just straight up missing a not unreasonable attack roll to kill Mangog. I think it's like a 7. Like, he calls in Jean Grey to do it, and he just misses. And then Mangog hits a bunch of attacks. Unimind ends up dying before Lockjaw. At one point, Unimind was on his stop click, and the way I had positioned accidentally good was such that if he wanted to call in a Wolverine to attack stuff as well as heal Unimind, he was either going to have to position Wolverine that he would have to make a breakaway roll to attack anything relevant, or not be able to heal Unimind, which was just just 2 not great decisions. He ends up going for the attack and just misses. And this is the obvious Wolverine, but he's also on his side of the map, so he doesn't even get flurry. So, and then I ended up taking care of Unimind. I kill the Eternals. I end up it's basically Lockjaw against the entirety of my team. Basically, he ended up getting, how many points did he get? 101. I guess he killed a bunch of Colossals. At this point, the team is 4 Floras, Mangog, Groot, Dark Phoenix, and then the same 3 Q, Lockjaw, and Mr. Oz Tank ID's team. At this point, basically, the idea is pretty much all the Colossals can heal past their starting line. They're quite obnoxious. Floors are obnoxious in water and in general. Mangog is just an actual threat always, especially with being able to not retaliate. Dark Phoenix is crazy good. And with the inspiration of Running Shot from Rachel Gray ID, she can have, Sergeant Row 2, Sidestep up to Row 4, Running Shot 5. Like, she can shoot up to Row 20, theoretically. Just a huge swing thanks to her 10 range and no Colossal Indifference. The next game I played was against Aaron Morgan. I guess people probably know him as one of the judges. His first event was Origins this year at U.S. Nationals, and then one of the judges from Worlds, as well as various other events and whatnot. He is a huge Starro fan, and he's playing a Starro team. The Starro team also includes a Q, Trelane, Mr. Oz, Dark Phoenix, Groot. So this ends up being one of the more interesting and not easy matchups, just because he has more dice manipulation than I do with Trelane, and his is global as opposed to Q's 8 range, whatnot. So this matchup is very map dependent. I end up killing both the Colossals early. He ends up mind controlling a lot. Thankfully he doesn't have access to the new trouble alerts, but making all those attacks and popping in just extra figures with the trouble alerts off of the Starfights missing is great. This ends up being a very close game. This game is also kind of decided because of a Roll20 technical thing. Basically every time, or not every time, but a lot of the times that we were rolling dice, they would just take forever to load. So it just started to add up to the point where last action was on his turn. He could have definitely probably turned it around, almost certainly. if there had been enough time. This game ends up being 128 to 121, so just really tight. And if those dice had decided to function properly, that would have been much better. My third round is against Eric Mulheron. I don't know if that's mispronouncing it. And he'll come up again later. He's playing Unimind, Q, Trelane, one Flora, and Groot, I believe. This game was basically decided due to somebody forgetting kind of a major rule of the game. I end up because my usual first turn is, like I said, TK up Lockjaw, and that's basically it. Like, nobody else really moves. So he sets up his first turn. He gives Unimind running shot, and he tells up all the perplexes, and he ends up trying to go for my Colossus in the starting area that have immunity. So at the time, I let him take back, I guess, what was it, the running shot positioning. But at that point, there was just so much that had happened. Like, there's only so far you can really go back after you've done a call-in and you've done so much various things. So he ends up basically kind of positioning there for no reason. I end up being able to pop Unimind very quickly, and it ends up just kind of going down from there. He ends up conceding at one point. Immunity is weird, and sometimes if you forget about it, it's bad. But I end up playing him again later, so I'll mention that at the time. Round 4 out of the 5 Swiss rounds was against Dan Powell. Again, kind of, not again, I guess again from the other time, but I won map again, obviously, because I always do. I end up, neither of his floors heal. I think I end up killing the Skyscraper just because she was such a lot of trouble for me the previous time, as well as a Flora, just to get a little bit ahead on points. He ends up having Unimind. I guess his first play was Lockjaw rolls TK to TK up Unimind to do a call-in. Unfortunately, he ends up on click 6, and he forgets that Dark Phoenix's retaliation gives action tokens, which is bad, but it didn't end up mattering because theoretically my team can do multiple tokens in a turn, but I'll get into that. So he storms and then calls in and kills some Colossals or whatnot. I end up retaliating with Dark Phoenix. So Unimind's on a token and Lockjaw's on a token on click 6. And I end up missing with her, which is unfortunate because if I would have killed Lockjaw with the pushing damage and given Unimind a second action token that early in the game, that would be really cool. But at that point, I just instead decided to go for calling the 15-point Iceman just to do the similarly annoying not retaliation to use just free incap basically to incapacitate Lockjaw to death. And then Unimind does something. I end up popping him not terribly long afterwards. I can't remember quite how long the game went after that, but at the point where he lost his main support piece, it's down to just Unimind, who would have been pushing at that point, and I have most of my team. It wasn't great for him. He ends up with 91 points. I ended up winning. My last round was against all of our good friend and everybody's friend, Emily. She ended up, we had the night before discussed if she was going to go with the unthemed Vulture like she had before, the themed version. She ends up going for the theme one with Vulture, Steve, a bunch of Shield Diplomats, the Agent Coulson with the weird object interaction, Sharon Carter, Everett Ross, stuff like that, the typical, the Shield Vulture team at this point. I do give her Leslie in this matchup because it ends up mattering a lot. I end up not being able to blow up her arms, but I end up TKing the arms next to Mangog, who picks them up with his super strength, because I know that once she does use up her tokens, I can then just have him do a range object action to blow them up really whenever he feels like. So she ends up her first turn setting up the usual, she ends up equipping the Blood Axe and setting up for her eventual volley. I end up having Dark Phoenix, or no, I guess I end up tanking, basically looking to target Leslie Evans and then getting the whole team because basically like her team's kind of clustered. I end up putting Leslie like right next to them, and I don't remember if she even had the action to do it, but you don't want to be wasting actions to move a Pog just to not get tanked. So I end up tanking her. The damage itself isn't necessarily relevant, but more forcing her to have to deal with it because all her characters are near it, and if she attacks it with a main force, I retaliate. But she does end up being able to poof off of it. But at that point, she has to like invest in killing the tank, which is kind of whatever, because I will eventually be able to kill her little stuff with stuff like Dark Phoenix and whatnot. And that's kind of what ends up happening. Her initial Vulture Volley, she somehow misses. I can't quite remember how, but she just ends up. Did she end up missing? I can't even remember. I think she did Vulture and somehow ends up missing. I guess because I had a pocket one on Q.
Yeah,
that basically decided it. And then I kill Vulture. She's down to, she has Collins and some little guys. I end up just picking her apart from there. But I end up having to deal with Peggy Carter popping out when I kill Steve. I have to deal with her. But eventually, yeah, I don't think I mangogged her. I end up mangogging the other shield team I played against later. But I end up top seed going into the cut. I was supposed to play Caleb, but he ends up Caleb Burdick from Texas. He ends up dropping, so I end up actually playing Matt Dunham. He is playing Onslaught at 125, Immortal Hulk, I think 2 Carnages, 2 Wendigos. I think that's it. This game was literally, I do not understand how some of these dice could be that bad. Basically, not the first attack, but one of the first attacks he ends up making was I do have a 1 on Q. He ends up rolling a 1 as attack roll. I turn that into a crit miss. And then he just proceeded to crit miss pretty much every attack roll after that. It was unfathomable how bad his dice luck was. I simply do not understand.
Look, dude, I don't need your help. I can do it myself.
Yeah. I think at one point he definitely crit missed twice in one turn. He could have gotten into trouble in one turn. It was he did everything he could, but if your dice are that bad,
you don't even need dice replacement. You're sitting there, looking at your dice, thinking, "What am I going to do with these?"
Well, at that point, you're looking at roll 20 and being like, "Wow, how are your dice this bad?" Top 4, I'm playing against Connor, who's also Shield Vulture. I can't probably the similar characters to Emily. He has the arms, he has a spin ring, and a random light for Coulson's weird power. I am not able to blow up his object or his arms, but I am able to pick him up Mangog like I did before. He ends up going for the Vulture Volley. He ends up missing because my Q just rolls the matching die, and he was way too far to prob at all. So he just misses. Vulture dies immediately. And then I'm just able to creep up. I don't think he had only like 1 or 2. He had like Rachel Summers, Phoenix for the TK. He already used it. He had like 1 other call, I think. But basically at that point, it was down to literally just the little weedy shield guy. So I just start creeping up my stuff to do stuff and finish off the rest of the team. He ends up attacking a Flora with a main force character. I Mangog, and then that's pretty much it. I end up only needing to use Collins this game, I guess, because can't remember what I used, but I ended up only scoring 11 points. So I guess 2 3s and a 5-point ID. That makes sense. That checks out. And then in the final, I play against Eric again. Luckily for him, he does not make the same mistake again. So what basically ends up happening is a combination of my game plan not being the quite correct one, in addition to some, I'm not going to say terrible dice, but the dice quite not being as good as I needed them to be, as well as Q's replacement die not being quite high enough to matter. Basically, what he ends up doing is basically moving Unimind all the way up, parking in stealth, and then just boxing up his events every single turn, and then just doing other stuff. So he's at a 21 or a 20. My floors are healing pretty decently this game. I try and hammer so many attacks into that Unimind. I end up, every time my Q rolls a 3, which is like every turn, I end up needing to, I end up wasting the dice to try and get a better one, and I keep on rolling a 3 or something like that. So even with all the floors attacking and all the walking woods and all the various different attacks, it doesn't quite work out. What I really should have done was end up going for Trelane, especially because he was rolling a lot of 6s and 1s. Ones are obviously very, very bad because my attacks are not high enough that having anyone in the attack roll is going to allow me to hit. So I really should have gone for Trelane. I wish I had. But I do end up killing his Q early on, which I would have hoped would have helped me more than it did, but it unfortunately didn't. This game ends up being not that far off. 96 for him, 50 for me. I guess I got Q and like one or two other Colossals. But it was good to see. It was a very good game. It was very stressful, but it was still quite good. It felt pretty close the whole time. I wasn't quite keeping track of points. I wasn't quite sure how many I needed, but I was just trying to really hammer those attacks into Unimind. But it just, unfortunately, Unimind's still very, very good. And I was pretty okay with having won 3 other games against him, considering that I was pretty sure that it was not a good matchup. And I just want to end off by thanking Lucas for the Mangog suggestion. And I really had to thank Jesse Hote for basically helping me make the team happen. At one point, I sent him, I guess, kind of a first draft of the team, and he's helped me really refine it. He ends up kind of going with a similar sort of shell. He ends up winning the Majestics 1K. Congrats for that. And he's just really helped make this team happen. And I have I think the most refined, best version that I'm going to try tomorrow with the winner map. I ended up deciding to drop the tank. I'm going to replace that with basically the tank never was used. I had I'm sorry, I mean once or twice, but it just really was not ended up being used. I'm sorry, Tom.
I don't even know you anymore.
I was going to say you've just set Tom off. Tom.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry.
He literally just immediately wanted to start raging. You could see it. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you took the tank off?
Yeah. So the version for tomorrow is the same Colossals. So 4 Floras, Groot, Mangog, Dark Phoenix, Lockjaw, Q, Mr. Oz. At one point I had the Emma Frost ID for the chase, but she never ended up mattering. So I'm replacing that with a second Magneto ID just so I can have both a 2x2 on there in the danger room. Rusty ID because not having it on the team was a betrayal. And WWE ring for extra oppressive re-rolling, which is always fun. And looking forward to some games with whoever it is tomorrow.
I'm happy you're playing Mr. Oz. That makes me happy.
Yeah, it basically came down to between him and Trelane, and he's just so good.
He really is.
And luckily, there's not enough Kobik that he's a problem to play necessarily, but yeah, I'm a fan.
All right, awesome. Congrats on just getting so much in. Beyond, like, I mean, congrats on the success, but like, geez,
Nothing better to do, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we're more jealous of you playing Clix
Yeah.
than you winning Clix.
Yeah, and I know I personally have the same kind of hang up that Mike has. It's like I have to feel the tactility of it. I'm still kind of adapting to Roll20 myself. I've tried it a few times, but it's a great tool to, especially given the times that we're in right now. Let me say.
Yeah, I will say when I initially started using it, I wasn't as much of a fan, but I guess now that it's really the only option, I kind of got used to it. And I do like the idea of being able to play an impressive colossal team without having to worry about carrying them all and whatnot.
Yeah, they don't fall over and stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
I guess the one other thing I wanted to say is that basically this is a compliment, not meant to say anything bad about the team, but it basically feels like Tyler's Wales team, but just with Prob. So kind of better in that way. But I'm a fan of all the Colossals, even though Iceman exists and even though stupid Jason with the Spectral Ring exists and I hate Devin. What? Stupid Jason.
I mean, can we
Wingard.
Thank you. This is a show rule. Wingard.
I said it the first time. You can't blame. You can't say I didn't do it the first time.
It's all good. I'm just teasing. Man, but it does catch me off guard where people are just talking about Jason Wingard, but they only refer to him as Jason. It's like, why do you hate me? Oh, Jason Wingard. No, you hate me.
If you
Okay,
could pop
cool.
autonomous pogs in a game, I'd be pretty pissed at you too.
Or people just using that now as
Yeah,
a thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Wingard. Yeah.
I hate Jason and all his pogs. What? What's wrong? No, Wingard. idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's barely different, but sure.
Oh yeah, it's there's like a last name difference, but both of us are notorious for our pogs, and both of us are notorious for, you know, being what we are. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just trying to stretch for time, to be honest. Yeah. So now I guess we could take a minute to talk about the last figure from Black Widow, if you guys want to do that. The
Yeah,
Taskmaster.
we've done everything else, and I haven't seen this yet, so it'll be fun for me.
All right, well, I'm pulling it up on Clixnexus right now because they said they had it. I'm not sure if it was up on HC Realms, but
I think most of the set is on Realms, but not necessarily all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, yeah, Joe did say he put the last figure up on there specifically.
Yeah, Joe has been on top of it, and really on top of like letting us all know, hey, things are up. So,
yeah, I used to want to do that with units, but the problem is I can't actually authorize them. So I'll put up the units, and then it's just a crapshoot whether or not they actually get authorized.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a site that's been run by a team a lot longer. I think Joe is just kind of solo running Clixnexus right now. So
as far as I know, yeah.
All right, so with that, let's take a look at that one figure that we didn't get in our our box unboxing, and that is the Taskmaster. I believe it's this screen. No, it's this one. There we go. All right, Taskmaster. Team player, so wildcard. 6 range, 100 points. Assassin, soldier, task force keywords. Ignores hindering for movement and line of fire. He's got a trait. Nice trick. Mind if I steal it? When an opposing character targets Taskmaster with an attack, after resolutions, you may choose a standard speed, attack, or damage power that character can use. Taskmaster can use a chosen power until he chooses again. When Taskmaster attacks a single character, modify his attack +1 for each standard power he can use that the targeted character can also use. That's part of the trait. He's got a special movement power. I've got a mission to do, which gives him running shot, sidestep, and stealth. And he's got a special defense power on his Indomitable Defense. For the first 4 clicks, it's, yeah, I've seen a guy do that before. Super Senses and Toughness. When Taskmaster is targeted by an attack, modify his defense +1 for each standard power he can use that the attacking character can also use. Tom, what do you think of Taskmaster?
So if I'm reading him right, just because I'm not used to the colors on Clixnexus yet, that's 2 clicks of Perplex followed by an RCE, 3 CCEs, and an RCE at the end?
Yep,
That's what it looks like.
Alrighty. I mean, this is my first time looking at it. I do like a lot of the things that I see here. Like, I like the fact that on his own, he can use 5, well, he can use, including his standards, he can use 8 powers, because he's got willpower, plus precision strike perplex, 3 powers through his movement power, 2 powers in his defense power. So if I'm reading it right, that is 8 different powers he can use off the top. Then he may be able to get his attack and defense bonuses for just by default. And so, like, willpower is so common, especially like in a competitive setting. Virtually everyone's got willpower, it feels like. So it feels like he's going to have a lot of 13, 19s at least from that alone, if nothing else. And he's got perplex to further add it up. Like, off his top dial, he seems to have some pretty crazy numbers because his base numbers are good. He has lots of ways of getting modifiers, and he's got his own perplex. So you put it all together, and I think that there's some interesting stuff going on there. I must admit, though, for 100 points, it is a hard sell because all you really need is for your super senses to not work, or shall say it with me, everybody, outwit. And you can really tear through them with no heavier defenses, no shape change or other form of evasion, no trade things that give them an advantage in that respect, and no outwit protection, no stop clicks. I mean, he's just what you see is what you get for 100 points, and he doesn't quite have the output that I feel like I need for a character like that. So I think that he's really cool, and I love the way that those numbers stack. I think it's worth a try, just to see how often you run into people who can use any number of these powers. I mean, stealth is super common, sidestep is super common. You could really get some serious numbers, but I'm afraid you get torn down before he has a chance to use.
All right, Mike, thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with 99% of what Tom said about the figure. Obviously, I'm a little more excited because I love Taskmaster the character, and I think this is a pretty sweet version of the character. 12 attack to start is awesome. I love Precision Strike. I think the only area I would disagree is I think he's got a sort of a lower tier outwit production in that at least he has stealth built into that movement power. So for the first 3 clicks, unless you've got improved targeting that sees through hindering, it's like outwit protection light. I know we just got a whole bunch of espionage guys in the recent cap set. So again, stealth lost a bit of its luster in that respect. But I do think that gives him a slight little bump there. But I agree with you. Again, it's the 100 points. It feels like a very big investment for a figure that may not stand up to an attack quite as well as you want him to. But what a great version of Taskmaster. I love that trait. And I'll be honest, I probably more in a casual game, but I definitely want to try him out with Exaspect and see if I can manipulate some bonuses there by picking the right power at the right time. You know what I mean? So, but a cool Taskmaster. I'm really digging him.
All right, Jay?
Yeah, I basically completely agree with Mike. This feels like, from a casual perspective, I feel like this is the most a Taskmaster has felt like Taskmaster, really. Like, he has pretty much everything you want. He can pick powers. He has a lot of, Perplex is good. He can shoot good. He sees through stealth. He kind of has all the tricks that you want. Wild card. I guess the 2 problems are the fact that it's a movie figure kind of affected the keywords. And I do feel like I say this a lot, but it's a really good dial, but it's just not undercosted. Like, it's only correctly costed.
Right.
So
yeah, I was a little sad about those keywords
75,
too.
I think that would be pretty reasonable.
Oh, 75, he'd be great.
75, we'd be having a different conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny what a difference that makes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was something. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we move to questions and our new little feature of post-game game?
I wouldn't mind doing one small thing, which is only because we touched on it briefly, and I thought that it might make an okay thing to take a couple minutes to talk about, which is that because Roll20 currently is the only real outlet that we have to play here for Sunline. I think that it's a really good one. And we were alluding to some of the growing pains that we have at first when we get into it, and the way we kind of get comfortable with it. So I guess I would quickly say, can we take 5 minutes just give any advice we might have to someone who might be new to learning Roll20? I know that we've said before how to learn it, which is, you look at I know that Clixnexus has a video out that you can kind of learn the basic stuff. But outside just the technical things, what is it about Roll20 or the peripherals of using Roll20 that you would suggest?
One thing I would definitely suggest, and I think it was Emily and Dave in our Roll20 kind of suggested this. Familiarize yourself with some of the macros. There is that thing, the easy mode of just going up to the die, highlighting the die that you need, and rolling that. But there is a set of macros that you can set up where you can actually have just a button on the bottom that is your 2d6, 1d6 buttons.
Yep.
Find those.
I always use it. Yeah.
And use them because it'll speed up your whole dice rolling process at first. And familiarize that line of sight tool is super useful. The one where you can draw from center to center.
Snap to center.
Yeah.
I don't think I know the macro for the dice roll. You mean like when you copy after rolling a dice and then?
No. You can set it up such that there is a roll d6 button, basically in the bottom left corner, like just next to the names. And you can have one for, like, you input a command and you input a name of the command. So you'll have d6 and 2d6 generally for Heroclix.
Yeah, I forgot how to do it. I was trying to do it in your room and I totally boned up and I don't know what I'm doing with it. So
let me pull up Roll20 and I'll just.
Yeah, you can screen share it if you want.
I don't even know if I know how. Can I screen share if my camera's on?
You know what? If you want, if you know the steps, we can screen share onto Roll20 that I have open over here.
Okay, so let me know when you're good.
And why are we getting double voiced in here? Oh, because Jay, we're getting. Okay, hold on a second.
Oh, we're in the same room. Oh
yeah,
God.
we're
I'm
in,
sorry.
and settings for some
Oh, no.
reason. The sound settings are on this, so give me a second. Well, I have to disable, don't I? I want to broadcast.
I just disabled it.
Okay, thank you.
If you disable, and reconnect.
Yeah. We're good.
That's another,
Yeah,
we'll do
okay.
that's another piece of advice. Let's do that while we're there.
So you go to the top right corner where all the various things are, like where
Yep.
the chat is or where the images are. So to the left of the gear.
Oh God, of course. And give me a second to just get this out of the way. Here we go. I'm gonna move
macro.
us to the other side there. Okay. Sorry. So to the left of the gear.
Yeah, the icon just to the left of
Macros,
the gear.
yep.
Yeah, so you go to macros, you go to the add button,
Yep.
and then you'll get the pop up open. So you'll put in the name of whatever you want. So you'll probably be you roll D6 or whatever.
Yep.
For the name, and then under action you would do the command for that, which would be slash roll and then space and then D6. So yeah,
Okay.
so slash roll space 2D6 or D6.
Okay. So in this case, I have it named roll 2d6, and it's slash roll space 2d6, and I can save this.
Yep, and then you go back into where it says macros.
Yep.
And then under all that, where it says name of whatever, you'll see that it's there now. You just have to press the little box to put it actually in the bar.
Click the in bar checkbox, and there it is.
Yep,
at the
and
bottom.
then yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna add a roll, another roll 1d6 for like breakaways and stuff like that, or shape changes and stuff, and then slash roll 2 or 1d6. Save.
I can't remember if it's 1 or 2d6 or 1d6 or d6 for that command, but yeah.
I think it might be both. So now we go to the chat, and then I click the roll 1d6, and boom, there's 1. That's a 6, and then I roll 2d6, and there's a 2 and a 1 for. There we go. Hopefully.
Yeah, and I guess
learn that trick from us.
Yeah, and while we're talking about dice, it's worth noting that while you have those dice over there, you can for let's say you have an effect like that, like Q or whatever. If you have a dice roll, you can go to where it has like in where you rolled, like in the chat where it shows that you rolled, you can drag and drop dice. That 2 should have just appeared over there.
Yeah. Okay, so I can take the 6. We'll say.
Yeah. Yeah. So you grab the little 6, the green one, and you just drag it over.
There it is.
And then you'll have a
6 to put
a little
somewhere.
6. Yep.
Ooh.
Cool. So a little bit of technical add-ons. That was one that definitely hit me, where it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known this when I started the
yeah, not having to type roll d6 or have to remember.
do the
What did I
drag
copy? Yeah.
Because that's what I usually do.
So,
Is I
yeah.
go to that dice icon on the top left, and I go to D6 and hit 2. So that's what I usually do. Tom's still in the midst of setting up our game, so we're going to get out of this for a second. Mike, is there any observations you've made?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't got to play a lot. I've really had 2 games, but I know what's been, like I said, what was difficult for me to start was just some of the perception thing of what I'm used to playing and sort of looking at it that way. Definitely, you should, first couple of games, play with some people who've used it a bunch rather than have 2 of you be brand new when you're first doing it, because then you're probably going to stumble through a lot of things. I think, too, obviously, you want to play a couple of games in a non-competitive setting, in so much as I would say without a time limit, because as you're learning all the nuances and you're fiddling around with things, right? Someone's going to end up taking longer turns. So I would leave the timer out of the way, not necessarily keep your competitive team out of the way, because if you want to do competitive practice or whatever, but maybe you want to streamline things to start and play some more basic games with just figures and then start to add the elements in. But that would be my very rudimentary advice, having only really played 2 games.
All right. And Tom, is there anything that you think? I mean, me and Jay just kind of muddled our way through the dice macro. Anything else that you might?
Well, I mean, my advice is more to do with peripheral elements that have helped me, not so much in Roll20 itself, but and this may be super basic, but again, everyone's coming from a different place, so I apologize in advance if this is super obvious. But for example, if you've got 2 monitors that have realms open in your other monitor, and take a minute or two at the beginning of the game to basically go through when your opponent's team and your team and dump them all into the unit section. Or you could do this on Clixnexus if it's up there. Not doesn't have to be problems, but the point being, have a source of that stuff available to you on a second screen, so that you can quickly click around and see what everybody's dials and stuff are looking like at any given moment, and it doesn't make you look it up or be reminded at all times of what people look like. And then another one that should be self-evident, but I'm going to say it anyway, is try to use your physical materials in the room in some way if you can. Like I'm behind me, I've got a big box of the cards, and so when we get to our game tonight, I'm going to try to take as many cards as I can because I didn't have time to get the figures out. It was all kind of a rush job, but where possible, I like to have the figures in front of me. I like to have the cards out, and I like to be clicking the physical figures with my hands when people are taking damage, at least for my own team. So I've got a better sense of where I'm at. It allows me to mostly have my focus on my opponent's team because I'm not forgetting what click I'm on and what numbers I have on those clicks. If you have a great memory, then by all means, you feel free to ignore any of this advice. I don't have a super good memory at all times. And both for dials and clicks, and also just for what click you're on at any given moment, what you look like right now, and because you can't just at a glance it the way we can in an actual game of Heroclix, then you can try to simulate that to the best of your ability. And I'm a big fan of that sort of thing, and just taking a few extra minutes at the top. There's no these days. Heroclix is a completely transparent game. We're not even at the point where because we can look at the backs of cards anyway. You can be looking at your opponent's figures all the time. And Roll20 actually lends itself really well to that because everyone knows there's transparency in the game. So feel free to take a minute at the top also to clarify things with your opponent about what their pieces are, what versions of them are. Just make sure that you're clear on what the icons are. We use different pictures that you don't always necessarily know what it corresponds to. So take that extra time to learn how your opponent has built their team and get everything set up around you so that you can react more quickly, because frankly, Roll20 is slower than in-person play for me, for sure. And I don't know whether that's true for everybody else, but absolutely for me, it is a slower process. And anything you can do to streamline that process will be better for you and better for your opponent.
All right, awesome. Jay, anything else you wanted to add before we move on?
I guess I would share. I mean, this is on a Mac specifically, so helpful for Mike at least, I guess. I have a good setup for Roll20 that I like it at least. So what I do is I have one window for the game, and then I full screen it. Because on Mac you can have the different spaces, or basically you can have like a bunch of different full screens, and then you can swipe between them. So I'll have the one game in the middle, and then I'll full screen that, and then on either side I'll have both the entirety of my team on each rows, and then on the other side the entirety. So I can very easily, at a moment's notice, swipe at either direction, and then I have full access rather than trying to flip between tabs and figure out whose team is whose. So, or even in general, on any kind of computer, having different windows is probably just easier than having tabs and getting confused and whatnot. So, I actually only figured this out not long ago, but it was just very helpful because, you can't always have all the figures out all the time, but I have also found it helpful to actually click through stuff.
I'm going to have to remind myself how to open all those extra windows again. I know, you can have that extra desktop.
Yeah, basically, or the spaces or whatever it's called. I
can have like 16 desktops active.
Yeah.
How do I do that again? Oh my god, I haven't done that in forever. I forgot I could even do that. That's crazy.
I think something about if you had an external mouse, you could like 2-finger swipe across the mouse to get to the different desktops.
No, you can use the trackpad. You 3-finger swipe to either side.
That's what it was.
So for your browser, you use the on the left where you have the minimize, the X, and the green full screen. So you do that, and then you have the space, and then 3-finger swipe to go back to the left, open the next window, and then full screen that one, and then go from there.
That's not working.
So I just have very easy, just to swipe back and forth very easily. I don't quite know if there's a similar equivalent setup on a PC, unless you have 3 monitors, which would be really cool.
Windows 10 does have that ability. You can kind of swap between multiple desktops without having to have multiple monitors.
Aha!
That would be actually really cool.
Awesome as well. If you're running on a laptop and you have an HDMI cable, if you're running on a laptop, you have an HDMI cable and a TV that's free, you can get a double multi-monitor setup. One of them is obviously going to be your laptop monitor, a little small, but you can have the big monitor as well. There's all these available options that are out there. You know, take a second out of your PS4 and just use the HDMI for that, or your Xbox One or something. If you don't have that many HDMIs walking around, there are options to kind of increase your space, because that is one thing I do notice about Roll20. I'm actually kind of struggling with it right now, is getting the real estate, because I'm also streaming right now, so I've got to manage a Roll20, manage all the figures that are going to be on there, manage the stream at the same time, watch the chat, all that kind of stuff. So it's
it's a lot.
It's a lot going on right now.
Oh, Jay, thanks for reminding me of that whole thing. I figured out how to do it. All I have to do is actually just grab it and drag the one thing over, and then it creates that extra window. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I usually do, like I said, one build on one side and then one build on the other, and then the Roll20 in the window, so I just can not have to like flip from Roll20 to build.
That's so smart.
Oh, there you go. I hope that helps.
But yeah, I would also, I guess, note that Roll20 looks more intimidating than it is difficult. Like, I can totally imagine like the idea of it being very intimidating, but once you get used to it, it's really, it's very useful, I found, depending on, obviously, I'm sure some people just don't like the idea of not using their physical figures or whatnot, but I've quite enjoyed the experience, just because, I don't know, sometimes, like, if you have a real map and there's, like, different elevations and colossals, and it could just be, and, like, having to physically pick up a figure if you want to check a line of fire, like, there's so many different things on a physical map that can be difficult, and also floor is falling is a thing.
All the time.
Yeah, I guess the last one other tip that I've just remembered is being able to either drag a figure or being able to just select it into. I guess. Do you have your screen share still up at the Roll20?
I can pull it up very easily.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I can drag the figure like that, or I can just select it and then use the arrow keys to just do that. If that's something preferable to.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Depending on what it is, because like if it's like a 2x2, it's a little bit harder to like visualize it. But yeah, for a single figure, you can just do.
This is the best.
Yeah, that's all I got. I give the impression of being better with Roll20 than I really am.
Oh my god, this changes everything.
But wait, what are you doing that's so different?
You can use your arrow keys to move things along the squares.
Oh wait, I want to see this stuff.
Can you do diagonal?
Yeah, you can do diagonal if you
press the keys at the same time.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
Oh, and it does take into account the big
the middle
guy.
lab is turning up 4 guys learn how to use computers.
Oh, look at my Wendigo! He's going everywhere. Hello.
Our worst episode of all.
I'm a dancing Wendigo.
Way too easily entertained.
Yeah, no kidding. Here comes Tanky.
I'm still dancing.
All right.
Still dancing.
All right. Oh,
okay, he's going home. He's going home.
Almost broke everything. There we go. Okay, that should be better. I almost went to the camera, the camera only view, which would have broke everything. Anyway.
Oh, Wendigo. Oh, sorry. Yep. Forgot
All right.
He was hiding behind Magneto. It was a meat shield.
So, what we're going to do now, we're going to be moving to that stage where we're kind of wrapping things up, but then we're going to, after we address questions, we are going to move to a game. As you saw, we've been setting it up throughout the episode. And go from there. If you have any questions you're watching live in the chat, put in capital letters "question" in front of what you want to ask, so we can see it in the chat loud and clear. We are going to start on Facebook, and I've closed one of my Facebook windows. I'm so glad I did that because they're super easy to open right now. Okay, here we go. All right. So starting with the Married with Clicks community group, if you want to check that out on Facebook, just look it up in the search bar there. Where we got? Rick Ryan. If there's one figure that is going to get the most benefit post-rotation, Who do you think it would be and why? And Mike, I'm going to let you start with this one.
Of course you're going to make me start. I have no idea where to even answer that question.
I just wanted to give you the talking time, man.
Go to Jay next.
I don't know.
I'll let Jay. I'll give you a second to think, and Jay's probably already got an answer for that.
I was not paying as much attention as I should have. Rick Ryan's question?
If there is one figure that is going to get the most benefit post-rotation, who do you think it would be?
Yeah, easy answer is I don't know why this isn't like, I don't know, I don't want to say common knowledge, but I don't know why this isn't agreed upon universally, but Immortal Hulk. Just because you can't call on a storm doesn't mean, I mean, you want a main force figure with stats. He's very themable. He's so cheap for the longevity and the stats. Like, those stats, my God. And the fact that, you know, your opponent's going to have to attacking with the... I guess it doesn't matter what they're attacking with to give you vengeance tokens, but, you know, just being able to use those monster stats, attack 2 to 3 times a turn, depending on what you equip them with. As well as the fact that equipment is generally better. So exospecs... I mean, just because it's harder to blow them up in general. So exospecs on him, Hawk Arms on him, as well as the fact that the influencer that you probably want to trigger his activation click is also less destroyable. And yeah, I just don't see, and there's a lot of stuff in the environment just doesn't deal with him. Like Batman Prime just does not do very much to him at all. You know, because you go to the first stop click, okay, I'm on my good stats, and then you can't kill him because of the invincible on the stop click. As well as the fact that just having Battle Fury is very good, because generally Mind Control is on figures that happen to already be good in the format, like Jason Wingard, like Batman, and then the fact that in general Mind Control is just a good tactic in a world where you're going to be afraid of triggering Colossal Retaliation. So you want to be mind controlling characters to be making attacks amongst their own team, so you don't have to worry about being retaliated on. So therefore, having Battle Fury is very, very good.
All right. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I will go the counterpoint to Jay, because, you know, one of the last things Jay said is that we're going into a world where we've always been in a world where retaliators are common. Now we're going to a world where it's a lot harder to get rid of them without triggering other retaliation. So, you know, Dark Phoenix is definitely one. She already has got lots of action, but I think she'll be trying to be indispensable in a world where, because she can still attack, she's not limited to retaliation, but she is a retaliation machine, and will definitely be worth the weight in gold. So she's a piece that we're already seeing a lot of. I think we'll see even more.
All right. Mike, have you had a chance to?
Yeah, I came up with one, and Tom just said it. So, because it's obvious, really. I mean, she's already a great figure. No, but I meant in the sense that she's already a great figure, but one of her weaknesses was the Cyclops call-in, right? We've seen Cyclops. I've taken out a Phoenix a bunch of times with Cyclops call-in. Well, that's gone now, and so that immediately bumps her up. I mean, I'll say any figure really that either comes to the map with a lot of their own stuff now, because we're no longer sort of playing teams that are these call-in batteries that are going to happen, you know, where you've just got a figure and they can just call out a bunch of stuff and they're either hard to kill or they're just able to stay far away kind of thing. So I think a lot of figures that are just more powerful, like you'll see more Witch Queen again, and you'll see more tentpole possibility teams because you're sort of less worried about these things that are disappearing off the map. And I think anything with multiple stop clicks is going to be even more ridiculously huge now, because you're not going to get as many attacks in, almost, like, you know. So I think Chase Thor is going to be even better. Guy comes top loaded every dial with prob, which is never a bad thing. Plus he's got stop clicks. I think Ultron is even better with multiple stop clicks. So I don't feel like there's any. I think it'll take a while before we find the surprise figures. I think there's a lot of stuff that kind of is more obvious that it gets better, because you just think of what ID cards took stuff out. Oh, okay, well, ID cards are gone. So everything that sort of had that one weakness to ID cards, well, that weakness has sort of gone away. So I know that was a very non-answer, but that's typical for me.
It's nice that you don't have to worry about, oh no, this dice is 6 penetrating. Like, that's just way less of a thing now.
I mean, at the current release rate, Doctor Doom? No.
I think, well, this is it. I think Doctor Doom in a post-rotation age is going to do even better.
Yeah.
Because you're not now playing against teams with all these ID calls and stuff. I think tentpole teams have actually boosted themselves up a bit because it's not this constant call-in barrage.
One thing that I'm torn on is, I mean, we play Lockjaw all the time, but I know there are some people who avoid Lockjaw for fear of ending up on a 6 with a token and a call-out in cap or something. So anyone who feels that way no longer needs to. So maybe we'll see a little more Lockjaw for that.
I mean, I'm still of the opinion that if you are in a matchup like that, like Kobig or whatever, Lockjaw is perfectly serviceable just pushing. Like, yes. You start with a good mobility and good defenses to Rank Shell Pulse Wave Prob, to a Hypersonic click, to Impervious, there's no bad click there outside of you don't ever really want to be on click 6.
You're preaching to the choir, which is why I said, for those who feel that way.
Yeah.
I certainly don't.
Sorry, I'm agreeing with you, Tom. God.
Sorry, guys. I'm just adding a few new Roll20 tutorials to the description for those of you who might be interested in alternatives to what we've already presented. There's tons of good content out there. So let's get Bradcast and Happy Hero, Little Heroclix, a little bit of a plug out there. Check in the description. If you're watching live, you might need to refresh. If you're watching in the archive, it should already be there. All right, next up, Andrew Fairweather. I already addressed your question about the Justice League Unlimited matchups. They're coming. just get off my back, man. My computer can only do so much, and 9 hours a day it's work. So, my actual job, not my fun little video job here.
Nothing in Discord, by the way. I already checked.
What's that?
Nothing. No questions in the Discord. Just one.
Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah.
All quiet on the Discord front right now. Speaking of Discords, though, even though we've kind of gone neutral on Patreon Discord, our community Discord is open for everybody. If you want to arrange games of Roll20 on Roll20, if you want to talk to other people about anything, it's hard times out there when we're all in this social distancing thing. So jump in there and figure out, what you're interested in and what you're going for. All right. Next up, Jesse Cote. What piece that has or is about to rotate from the past few years would you love to see in the upcoming Modern? And why is Dark Phoenix the best? I mean, I think we've already talked about why Dark Phoenix is so well loved.
Yeah, he and I had a conversation yesterday. Yeah. Just going. It's just I don't understand how that got printed. It's so good.
Yeah.
Those are unrelated questions, right?
But yeah, as far as hypothetical figures I would like to see in the current Modern, I would like to see a return of the even though me and Tom got a lot of love of that Devil Dinosaur from Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I would love to see it in the current Modern, just to the upcoming Modern. That would be kind of cool to see. I don't know. What about you, Tom?
Earth X Cap. Why do we have to lose Earth X Cap when we have so much good Earth X?
All right.
I'll try to come up with a better answer. But right off the bat, I'm like, he's the one who I'm not going to miss him the most. We've already addressed the thing I'm going to miss the most at the pit tank. But as for things that I most just wish weren't retiring, I just wish he wasn't, because I love Earth X.
All right. Mike?
Unseen.
Jay?
I am going to say either of the two penguins from Joker's Wild, just because one of them is essentially just a really good resource. The other just pops out really good pogs, as well as the synergy of we still have Iceberg Lounge map and location, and them is some good pogs, and also probably the best way to deal with opposing equipment now.
Oh,
or not when rotation happens, I should say.
That actually reminds me, I really miss Ace the Bat Hound.
Oh.
And I need another Ace the Bat Hound. That's not a bystander.
There you go.
There you go. Bystanders don't count. Tom, did you come up with a non-Earth X cap answer?
Funny that Jay went to Joker's Wild, because I still think that super rare Joker that we all got tired of is one that I would love to see in the game now. You can't do the exploit with it's not exploit, but you're not using him anymore as a call-in battery. But I think there's a lot of stuff. We're living in such a rich equipment period. I think there's a bunch of different equipments that he could be used before, and there's just something so great about a functionally unkillable piece. There's lots of ways you can use him outside of ways we've used him before. So I think he could be evergreen.
I am horrified at the idea of playing him along with the new version.
Mm-hmm.
That is a frighteningly good figure. I got to see it played in I did a playtest game with Brandon Chastain for that Eagle Cast tournament. He ended up running a celebrity theme team, which was pretty cool. It was what was it? It was Mike's favorite Mojo, Spider-Man, Captain America said Spider-Man, the Jokers, Earth X Daredevil. I think that was about it. It was like it kind of looked like a non-theme team. I'm like, those are just a bunch of randomly good figures. Oh yeah, celebrity is a thing.
All right, awesome. Okay, that's that one. Okay, Michael Fedor, the Alpha patron. And even though the patron is on pause, we know you'll be there to the end. Has anyone thought to make a Golden Age build pairing the Phoenix or Dark Phoenix with the Wolverine and the X-Men figure number 60, Emma Frost, or her chase companions like the the Phoenix Force teams? I mean, I'm sure.
It's the line of fire. It's the line of fire protection that Emma gives that is so great about that.
Yeah.
That's the Phoenix Force version.
Yeah, he was talking about Phoenix Force.
Yeah, Phoenix Force version.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll say yes, but no. But yes. I mean, sure. I'm always looking at keywords and it's like, oh, another Phoenix Force. And I can put them together. But I'm just really not building Golden Age anymore because I'm not doing any big Golden Age tournaments. And it's all 300 modern.
I like the idea of giving Dark Phoenix Mystics for sure with all that healing, as well as I love the idea that you can make Phoenix Force Thugs with all those silly powers and bonuses that you get.
Yeah. So, I guess as far as like the thought process, I mean, Phoenix Force keyword would have been the first thing to come to my mind. Is that still a thing for those Phoenix Force characers?
Yeah, they still do it.
Cool. Then I mean that would have been what would have come to mind for me. I don't think I think I own maybe the Cyclops, maybe I don't know. Do we own any of those Phoenix Force characters?
Not the small ones.
Okay, we don't own any of them, so no.
I'd lend them to you. I have all of them, including the big prize Cyclops.
I'm actually shocked we didn't end up with those somehow. I think they hit high prices though.
I thought I remember you guys winning the big Cyclops.
We have the big Cyclops, but we don't have any of the normal size ones.
Yeah,
I won that one with one of the most evil teams. Yeah. Oh, you remember that evil team?
I remember that. I was there.
Running Galactus.
Yeah, I think you have full map swing.
It was the grossest thing. Oh, what's my energy explosion?
So
I hope we get there was a recent I don't know how recent it was, but in the King Thor comics there was a Phoenix Force Wolverine that was pretty cool. Maybe we get that sooner than later.
All right. Next up, we're moving into the chat. If you are live there, I know there's a slight delay. I hope you guys heard me when I said put in capital letters question ahead of it. The P-Nutty82 Asgardian. I wanted to say everything about that name because it's just awesome. Nutty Asgardian, completely off topic as of what I'm asking, but what method do you guys use or suggest for the secondary market? As in, I have quite a few pieces, so do you use eBay or Troll and Toad or whatever? I usually use a combination of eBay and Troll and Toad and just come up with a reasonable average myself. But then I also tend to drop the price below that if I want to make sure it sells, because it depends on what you're trying to do with it. I mean, and I can never give good advice financially when it comes to this game because I don't believe there's a lot of financial value in this game aside from like the second you open the pack and move it. So personally, that's what I generally do. If I'm selling a figure, I just go, okay, what's eBay want? What does Troll and Toad want? Kind of meet in the middle somewhere or find a reasonable in-between on them. The thing about using things like Troll and Toad and Cool Stuff Inc. is if they're out of stock on the item, their price won't change until they have it in stock again if it fluctuates. So
that's a problem.
if it's $30 on Troll and Toad, but then they get it in stock and it goes up to $129, you kind of missed the boat on that one. So that's why you just check eBay. eBay tells you what people are paying, but you have to use the sold listings. You cannot use the active listings because they're not sold yet. So you got to use what people have spent money on to kind of give yourself a good gauge on that. Jay,
Troll and
you do
Toad
this a lot with as well. So if any insight you got,
yeah, I was just gonna say Troll and Toad is really funny sometimes because sometimes they're really off. Like when Mighty Thor came out and they were selling the objects separately.
yeah, don't get me started.
Aaron Cantu got a Mjolnir for $3.
My God, that's crazy.
My God.
Yeah. Before Q actually came out, he was a pre-release, before he came out, price of 50 US, and I was like, oh, let's try and get that. And then of course it immediately shot up to the 300. But yeah, like you said, Troll and Toad can be unreasonable if they're out of stock and they haven't updated in forever. Sometimes their prices seem arbitrarily high, based on what you can find on Facebook and stuff. Like I think they have Peggy Carter for like 150 or more, which is just really way higher. I can't remember if that's even because they have it in stock, but then again, but also the problem with eBay is that I've seen sometimes something sells for an abnormally high price, and then everybody starts thinking that's what the price is, but that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Because that's not how the secondary market works. It has to be, just because one random person paid way too much for something doesn't mean that that's what necessarily everybody's going to want to pay. So you probably want to, if you have outliers, you probably want to. I guess outliers that are wildly out there. You probably want to take that into account, and probably average it all. And if you're trying to sell, maybe bump it a little below, or something like that. Or if you're trying to value someone else's stuff, don't try not to undervalue their stuff. I think I've seen a little bit of that, people trying to overvalue their stuff and trying to undervalue yours, sort of thing. So be reasonable, I guess, is a general good rule.
As a general rule as well, if you're using value for trade, make sure you're both using the same source. That's a common rule in Magic the Gathering. It's like, I'm using Star City Games prices. Well, I'm using this. Well, that's not going to work. You both got to go on the same price value. It's kind of how that works. Mike or Tom, any kind of insights you want to add? Or I don't know if you...
Nope.
No, they pretty much covered it. I will also add in that when it comes to Troll and Toad, especially between pre-releases and the release, once the release happens, you should give it at least 2 weeks to a month before you really use Troll and Toad, because like Jay said, they're a little slow sometimes updating, and they'll get those pre-release prices in and they'll be super inflated. So if you go looking there for stuff like singles when a set first drops within those first 2 weeks, those prices are probably still going to be the pre-release prices, which are very inflated. So give it a little bit, and you're looking for averages, man. So if you see dump the top price and the bottom price, right? That's what you're always supposed to do when you're looking on eBay.
Yeah, I think for eBay, I generally try and go for at least 5 previous sold. Of course, not including ridiculous outliers, sort of thing.
My advice to you is to find a friend who will do it for you, who knows what they're doing. Jay.
Yeah.
Specifically, one with no morals or soul.
That helps.
I mean, Jay is so good at selling things and selling them for the right price and knowing the price. How do you do it?
Keep track of it is the thing I don't get.
Yeah. Freaking Devin, every time I've had to twist his arm to get him to sell his stuff, and had to post it myself, and just had to I think he's still sitting on 2 Ultra Chase Thanos that he doesn't want.
Oh my God.
Or sorry, at least one now, because he keeps on winning these big tournaments and whatnot.
Yeah, he's got it so hard. He keeps winning all of this stuff. He's able to sell.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, I have all these factory sets to sell. What do you want? $5? Whatever. Get off my hands.
He's the epitome of that old meme of I got too many things. All right.
I was wondering what you were going with that for a second. You're like,
Oh, meme, you know the one.
Oh my.
you know that meme.
There we go.
Well, we missed a Facebook question, by the way.
What?
We
Go
missed
for it.
one from Michael. He asked, did the Atlantis keyword take a drop since the new Namors aren't quite as OG as the Civil War Namor? The new Namor is amazing.
Yeah, the new Namors are really good.
Don't you talk crap about the Council of Namors.
Yeah. And they got their new friend Aquaman to help. And
Mm-hmm.
Trench King, there's all kinds of stuff Atlantis can do now.
Yeah, I like the chase. I like the chase Namor now quite a lot. Like, he's
Yeah.
good value for the points. I love all the water he creates. And again, like he's a good. We keep saying this. Sorry, ring a bell. Post rotation, someone who's got fantastic values who can make their own water and can mess up opposing characters' movement and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of room for that. He does a lot.
There's only one problem with Namor. Guess how many figures besides Namor have Defender's team ability post rotation?
One.
1.
But they also made a bunch of wild cards.
Yeah, there are literally more wild cards with the keyword than there are characters with the actual team ability.
And Fantastic Four may give us a few. I have hope.
I really hope so.
Oh man, everything seems so far away now. All right, next up, Chase Fields. What figures do you guys think are going to be the prime Batman's best friends after rotation?
Oh,
Ooh, man.
A big old banhammer.
No, that's his worst enemy. That's gonna be everybody else's friend against him.
well, I mean, you're going to want to win map, so as many low point spanning pieces as you can.
Yeah, I wonder if they're ever going to print a 10-point enhancement with TK and the Justice League Unlimited trait, and it's Dr. Fate. And I watched PJ played that team on that Eagle post-rotation tournament. It was just, it's so dumb. So dumb. He was like having to roll 6 of the traits in a turn, and he had all the enhancement and the TK and all the actions, and and a swarm that gets enough actions to do all the stuff is that's a thing.
Pardon me for being ignorant, Jay, but you can help you can help the kids at home by helping me. Why is the enhancement valuable when you're not getting the bonus until your third click? You have to be using Psychic Blast to
Influence Ring.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll be right back.
Tom's gonna go.
Wait, what am I? Wait, I'm missing it now.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, you also have Exospecs post rotation too.
True. In answer to your question, Mike, like Influence Ring is the one where you can knock back on adjacent characters. So basically, you knock him back twice. That knocks him on to click 3.
I got it. You're knocking back him. Got it.
At that point, you can enhance him up.
I thought somehow you were putting the influence ring on him, and I was like, why were you doing that? I don't.
This isn't. I'm just looking at other keyword options now. I'm just realizing the Star Lab scientist, because obviously every character they make with that keyword has to be insanely good. 15 points has Gotham City as well, and has the roll d6 for see what power you get. Having a bunch of those with enhancement, or because what you can get of the 6 options that are relevant, you can get enhancement, perplex, or prob on a bunch of 15-point characters.
Because
obviously
one rolls all of them get. Right.
Right, and then you could also try multiple times in a turn, once for each. So. You can, because I mean they're differently efficient to Dr. Fate, because if you play 4 of these, that's 60 versus Dr. Fate, you have to play the 65.1 and then the other one, so differently good.
And the big thing about Dr. Fate is the ability to remove the action tokens.
That too, but I mean Batman also just has colossal stamina, and if turn 1, turn 2 you get your first action token to do the big attack, then second turn you do again, and then you colossal push the third turn. Like, if you haven't killed everything by then, I don't know what's happened, or your opponent has counterbuilt this very obvious team.
I was gonna say, at this point it feels like an awful lot of trying to counterbuild this team, but it's not even that easy to do. Obviously, Emma Frost can do it.
No, I just realized because you don't even want Batman on click 1. Who's really good with the Batman, Mike, your favorite Alfred. With the special perplex.
Oh yeah,
that's a thing.
That's good. I think
Yeah.
Zatanna will pair up with him well too. The super rare from Batman Animated, because there's the TK there. She's got the bats she can pop out for enhancements.
Enhancing bats.
She's got Perplex and Prob herself, plus that Justice League Unlimited trait. So,
there's more than enough friends for Batman.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god. I
mean, he has 1, 2, 3. He has 6 keywords.
Yeah, Batman, family, detective, Gotham City, Justice League, martial artist, and police.
There's not that many WWE with martial artists, but I guess you never know with the upcoming stuff. Batman and Asuka. What? Oh man, that sounds like a fun time.
Asuka, oh boy.
Yeah, you got a few. I think Ronda's on there.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey. Oh man, all right. This is starting to make me sick.
yeah, enough of that. Anything else?
Mm-hmm. So Rick Yell wants to know about Blade, equipped with the Doc Ock arms, and Finn Balor as counters to the Immortal Hulk. Leaves a lot of room for mystical support. I mean, all right.
Here comes the Blade stuff.
How many times have we had the conversation about Blade, where it's like, if they're not playing mystical or monster?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess because he's saying it's against Hulk and Hulk is monster, so here we are specifically, then yes, sure, Blade is going to take advantage of that, and that would be better for Blade.
I'd put more points into Finn Balor in this situation, to be brutally honest, but Finn Balor again is only on his signature move, if I remember correctly, the coup de grace.
Yes, it is. It's involved with the flying leap stuff.
You have to have the action token in order to do it, so hopefully you've either theme probbed or found your way into it. And you can't move an attack with it because he starts, I believe, with a lightning attack.
He gets flying leap with that signature move,
right? If
I recall correctly.
You are correct.
Yeah, you would know about Finn Balor. It pains me to have to agree with Scott Crampton, but if your Silver Bullet costs as much or even close to as much as the one character you're trying to do it, it's just not worth it because Blade just does not do enough against everything else. Doesn't have any of those relevant keywords. Jason Wyngarde, Vulture, Batman, a lot of stuff, cosmic stuff. You gotta read the environment. It's not like everybody's playing Tyler's team all the time, right? So
that's why I would lean more in the direction towards Finn Balor, because he doesn't just counter the Immortal Hulk. It's anybody with a defense power that he'll have a counter for. So
absolutely.
I'd say lean in that direction per se.
Also WWE just gets way better post rotation, I think. Yeah. Because Kobik, in my opinion, becomes way less good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. All right. So it looks like that's about it in the chat. So if there's nothing else, it is game time, boys, and it's a little late, so I want to try to speed through this as best we can, but that's as best we can. So we'll say we'll cut it off at midnight.
All right, we'll do what we can.
All right, let's do our best. All right, so today's game, it is WrestleMania week. This Sunday, this Saturday and Sunday even, because it's a 2-day event this year, they are still running WrestleMania. And me and Tom are ridiculous wrestling fans. We love the non-sport of men without pants pretending to fight over belts. So that said, we have 2 wrestling focused teams. Tom wanted me to go with my Undertaker focused mystical theme team that I ran at the WKO a little while ago. So it consists of the Undertaker, 2 Wendigos, Alex Wilder, Billy Batson, and a Tri-Sentinel with some ID cards, including the Magneto ID card, the Iceman ID card, 2 different forms of Storm ID cards, both with the Asgardian Storm, the Beast Student ID, Cyclops Student ID, Jean Grey Student ID, along with the Spin Ring and the Exospecs with 2 Firestorms for Jason Rules. So that's my team. And Tom decided that in lieu of one of the matches in homage, as it were, to one of the matches, Tom chose AJ Styles to focus his team around. So this is the Boneyard match, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
We've discovered this is the Boneyard match. All right,
what's your team? Discovered. I decided to build a martial artist team around AJ as the only keyword we're building around. I didn't want to go non-team. So it's a pretty basic little four-person. Well, it's a five-person team, only four for the keywords. We've got the AJ Styles at 75 points, along with the Mandarin. That will be the new Mandarin who starts with a whole bunch of rings. I am equipping all but 3 rings to him, and when you go all but 2 rings, then it's pretty. It can be a fairly easy choice. When it's all but 3, it's virtually impossible. So I am going without lightning because I don't feel lightning is that relevant. I'm going without influence. I love influence, but I feel like it's droppable. And much to my chagrin, I'm going without spectral. I love spectral. I love being able to nuke objects, but considering Mandarin himself already has a full dial of his own precision strike, it limits its effectiveness, and I think I would rather have the rest. So difficult choices all around, but other than that, I got all the other rings. I've got the Black Widow. This was the one that Jay mentioned earlier, the common from the Avengers, Black Panther, and the Illuminati. I am paying the 5 points, however, to give her the Space Gem. And I've got the Prime Signal from the Rebirth. Thank you. Along with a pin particle or a pin pocket tank. No surprise there. 5 ID cards. We've got a Cyclops full ID card. We've got a Wolverine full ID card. We've got a Harley Quinn ID card, and we've got student ID cards for Beast and Jean Grey, with the obvious choices on all of them. And there's also a time jam on the team.
Awesome. All right, so we rolled ahead of time in the shadows of this podcast. We rolled for maps. I chose the Underground Cave because I remember I had that as one of my options. I don't remember what my map options were per se. So we're gonna get ourselves all set up here. And, I'm going to.
If you need
an
extra light object or anything, just let me know.
Yep.
This looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm glad we decided to go for this undertaking.
I figure it will be phenomenal. No, only Tom got that one.
I don't know. We all see what you did there.
Amber's in a corner like, I got that reference. I have turned Amber into a wrestling fan. All right, I gotta make sure everybody can see this still. And okay, got all that. I guess I should put this one will go here, I believe, and then this will go here. I think I can safely arrange everything. Okay, I don't remember all my stats, and I have my HC Realms window that I was building everything over here. So we're just gonna sorry for everybody who had to see that. Go behind the scenes.
It is so weird seeing you with more IDs than Tom. That is like really weird.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't feel right somehow.
When it comes down to it, I didn't build this team alone. I do have to give one of our patrons, Azarath, a whole lot of credit for it.
I'll give a tiny bit of credit to somebody.
Tiny bit of all the credit, because he kind of came up with this team, and it looked very similar to something me and Tom were drinking about before a wrestling event. So, but we had black. I think our version was Black Adam, and there was no Wendigo at the time we were having the conversation. So, that said, I guess we should get everything started. I don't have any other objects, so we're good.
Yeah, anyone want to keep time? Jay?
I mean, I thought we were going to midnight, so there's no real,
All right, fine. Yeah. 45 minutes on the clock-ish.
All right.
I send you a virtual handshake, and let's have some fun for WrestleMania week.
All right. Give it the green light, because I'm ready to go. Okay, so the Undertaker, for my first action for drinks, grab the Exospec. He's going to take back to where he is, and then I'm going to give him an action token, and this is faster than any Undertaker entrance you've ever seen in your life. I'm going to give him an action token to give him the Exospecs. I'm also going to choose Reversal, because why not? Then, I feel like I screwed this up. No, actually, I'm going to... Do you have debris markers somewhere? You do. How do you do this? Is it just copy?
Yeah. Just copy and click, copy, paste.
So I never remember how I do this. actually think I have to, because I can't end my movement there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I can go there and back again. Anyway, picking up the spin ring with the. This is not going to actually be there. Picking up the spin ring, I'm going to sidestep, drop it on the square that Doctor Strange is on. And Doctor Strange is going to take an action. He's got the spin ring. There we go. Put that there. I hope that all is as clear as I could possibly make it. And then I believe it's just a free with Alex Wilder. I don't have to do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a free action. What can I not use with Alex Wilder?
No plus for you, my friend.
No perplex. All right, it's turn 1. I guess that kind of makes a whole lot of sense. Aside from that, that is my turn.
Not much of a grand entrance, I gotta say.
It's an Undertaker entrance. I don't know if you've seen the Undertaker, but it's going to take about 6 or 7 turns for me to enter.
Yeah.
If you say so.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I have a. It's not a gong, but I mean, it's just a cool hip entrance theme. Plays as the AJ Styles also does a grand entrance out to here. In fact, I'm going to use my cursors because it's fun. Oh yeah, I'm going to go there and then I'm going to go back. I appear to now be holding the time gem, and I will take an action to equip said time gem.
I wonder if we'll get demonetized if I use it. You know what? I'm not going to try.
Yeah, better not to risk it.
Better not risk it.
I should probably. Sorry, at the beginning of my turn for Mandarin, I have to choose. Let's go with Remaker, and let's go with Nightbringer. So Nightbringer and Remaker, and I will lay down stealth shortly. But first, the signal is going to take an action to destroy a little bit of block here. And the Mandarin is going to. He just takes a free action, doesn't he?
That sounds right.
Yeah, it is free. He's going to take Perplex this turn, but before anything else happens, he is going to take an action to shoot this piece of terrain. And he will take Perplex this turn. He will Perplex up, let's say, his own defense. The Black Widow will take a Perplex to Perplex up the Mandarin's defense as well. I am going to lay down some free smoke in just a moment, but before I otherwise forget, I will also wildcard Batman ally with Black Widow. And now I will lay down 2 smoke, basically 1 under Mandarin and 1 under the signal. And that's going to be all.
All right. Groovy, baby. All right, so next up, I'm going to start my turn by rolling leadership with Sheriff Strange. I believe I clicked it. There it is. Yep, typical 1. All right, cool. Your standard Jason roll. What are you going to not let me have for Alex Wilder? I'm going to assume.
There'll be no perplexing for you, my
No
friend.
perplexing for me. Well, in the meantime, I am going to have Sheriff Strange perplex up the defense on the Tri-Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see. I am going to sidestep with the Undertaker to here, because that's what he has printed on his dial. And I am going to choose with the exospecs, I'm going to choose Nimble. I'm going to get another movement right there. And I'm going to have I believe the Wendigos have sidestep. Oh, no, they don't have sidestep if they can.
Yeah, if there's
wounded,
there's a wounded token. Okay. Yeah, so they have 8 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to have this Wendigo move here, carrying Alex Wilder to there. And that's going to be blue for now.
Am I blue?
And then...
Really? After all that Batman hate? Really?
I'm going to have Billy Batson perplex up Sheriff Strange's defense. And then I'm going to clear the Undertaker. And my God, my computer is just trying to do so much right now. I'm basically clearing everybody with a red token while you take your turn.
I follow. All right. Well, that turn is going to be pretty basic. I have no leadership unless I have forgotten who has it. For some reason, the Mandarin doesn't. I really wish he did. And so we are going to start things off with Black Widow, who's going to climb and well, she'll phase.
You can't bear yourself to use leap.
Yeah, even in this circumstance, there will be no mistake. And I guess the smoke clears, but whatever. At the beginning of my turn, I have to choose anyway, so I'll go with Remaker and Nightbringer once again. And I am going to let's go here with Black Widow. Actually, you know what? I'll go here. I'll just put this back. Do I like that idea? No, I like this idea better. Black Widow will go there. I will give her a token. So she is going to carry Mandarin to here and AJ Styles to here. I am going to put down underneath Black Widow and Mandarin, I should say. Tank follows, and we'll drop old Tanky off here. And that is going to be it. I will perplex, use the Mandarin to choose perplex. I'll perplex up my own defense with the Mandarin. Black Widow will use her perplex to perplex with the Mandarin's defense. That will clear everyone else. We can go.
All right. I am so bad at Heroclix. So if I am here, and then we put them here. We go 1, 2, 3, 4 to here. Whoops, wrong thing. I think it's this one.
Carry the 4. You always want to think that you can.
Nope, that's not gonna happen.
You always want to think that you can move for free with the Undertaker because WWE, you get your grand entrance and you just think you can always use it. That is the one thing I am constantly.
I sort of can with the Undertaker because I've given him the exospecs.
Yeah, like he does have ways of moving well, but
oh no, that's gonna cross 2 as well. How do you guys use this Cyclops? All right, what am I not allowed with Alex Wilder?
You are not permitted to use perplex.
Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
He's consistent. I'll give you that.
1, 2.
There'll be no perplex for you, my friend.
Tri-Sentinel breaks everything within 3. So
Yep.
I can't get there. Well, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then sidestep to there. Yeah, I can't get to him. So it's not a massive thing there. I will have Sheriff Strange perplex up the side Tri-Sentinel's defense again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna have the Tri-Sentinel. Whoops. I'm gonna have the Tri-Sentinel. Oh, my mouse button. Okay.
The Tri-Sentinel's going to snap to center.
Yeah, Tri-Sentinel's going to snap to center, carrying Billy Batson to here. I could have done the move thing, Jason. You an idiot.
Nothing's happened. If there's something you could have done, then do the thing.
No, it's still too much to. I think it's still too much of a risk.
Right.
Where my head is going.
You could have carried Wendigo, couldn't you? Because Tri-Sentinel was technically bigger,
Yes.
right?
No, but I think Wendigo has Battle Fury.
No, it starts with
Yeah, he starts to exploit.
gets it later.
Cool. Then yeah, I could have.
Yeah, I mean Tri-Sentinel can even carry a boot colossal.
But I'm going to sidestep and exospecs choose Nimble to get there, and then basically giving him the Kenny Pena special sidestep.
I was going to say it's Shawn Michaels' shtick.
Yeah. It's a reference that people will get. The Kenny Pena reference at this point being like...
It was really funny because...
it's like we're celebrating 10 years of the Kenny Pena reference.
Fine, though, isn't it?
It was really
anyway,
fun that...
when to go and pass to you.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
I forgot to declare my point values on a few things, so give me a second. So you understand.
Yeah.
The Magneto is going to be at 25, but the Iceman is going to be at 100.
Yeah, I assumed both.
Everything
Okay.
everything else is low except for Jean Grey, who's going to be 90.
Yeah, I'm in a similar place for the perspective that my Wolverine Cyclops are both at 50, my Beast's at 40, my Jean's at 60, and Harley only has one value.
Yeah, it's just, Jean Grey might be the one that might throw you off because only Undertaker can get it, so might as well go for all of it.
That makes sense to me. Just seeing if there's any way that I can really create guys. I don't think there is. 1, 2. I can't get there. If we get you out the way, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. I think the best bet to go to that square. Which means I need to be able to see. Means the signal needs to move. Okay, I'm down with the signal moving. 1 action, 2 action, 3 action, and 4 if I have a leadership on that. Okay, go that square. Bless you.
What a sneeze.
Sorry to sneeze. Yeah, sneeze of champions. And the one other thing, of course, is the power. Top of my turn. Let's choose for my old friend, the Mandarin. And this time, there actually is a small bit of thought that needs to go into this. We are all going to go Remaker for sure. And I am going to go with.
Keep going, I'll be right back, but I can still hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's all good. All right, Jay, what do I do? Quick, while he's gone. How do I win the game? You win games a lot, right? What should I do? I know. It's devilish. I know. I'm pretty.
I mean, if you generally.
I'm gonna wait till Jake. I know. I'm pretty sure. I know what I'm gonna do here.
I mean, yeah. If I know what to do, I think you do too.
Well, I don't think I do know what to do, but I think you know what I'm going to do because it's me.
I said I could hear you guys, so keep going.
Oh, yeah, all right. Let's see. So I need you to go there. Oh, I'm running out of actions is my problem. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Can't get to there. A4. Need to go to there. Get out of the way. Shit, everything's bad. I mean, no, I do need that. Okay, I'm taking too long. I wish that I didn't have to do this particular thing, but I'm going to choose my 2 as Remaker and Spin.
Okie doke.
You with me? That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. So just there. Okay. Remaker and Spin are my 2 choices. I am going to spin myself into this square. Oops, yeah, smoke. AJ is there. The signal is going to take a move action, and his move action is going to take him to here. There's no way to avoid it, so let's go with one more over, which would be here. So that'll be an action token for him. And AJ Styles is going to take an action to fall out of Cyclops.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Everyone acts surprised. I'm going to take a free action with the Mandarin to choose Prob. I'm going to perplex up Cyclops' move so that he can carry the tank, because the tank can't do the whole follow along thing. And he's going to go here, shooting at Billy. Tank follows to this square, let's say. So he is attempting to tank Billy from this square. It's a double power action with AJ, sorry.
Yep.
Token. And you also score the ID card, which I will put down here as your scoring area. And so, yeah, Cyclops, we're going -1 on the attack value, so we're 10 to Billy's 16. I'm just going to put down the hindering now.
Not be 17 with the hindering?
17? Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
So 10 to 17, I need a 7 to successfully drop a tank. I will roll a 10. And I don't think there's anything you can do about it, but I'll let you tell me if there is. All right, so this tank goes away, and the much larger tank will go down. see if there's any benefit. Because it has to be in an adjacent square to him.
Yeah, at least one of the squares has to be adjacent.
Right. So basically, what's happening here is I'm just taking up the tricentennial. The only real question is whether or not I want to reposition the Undertaker, and I do. So I will that down. So
You're so full of surprises, Tom.
Tricentennial's about to get KO'd, so I'm looking to KO Alien now. I will put this additional hindering down there because that is about to go there. Send that to the back. Sorry, go one below. There, Undertaker, I'm going to move you in a second. Just want to put that down. Let's move Undertaker to that square, just to get him slightly farther away. Tank sits there. That's an action token for Cyclops. And Cyclops will sidestep to Poof. Take him off the map. And I think that's it for my team, right? Because that was 1, 2, 3 actions. I mean, I could have taken a fourth, I suppose, if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. So that's going to be the end of my turn. And over to you.
It's too bad that the tank's defense powers are protected out with, because otherwise Jason could submission hold it.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, can I submission hold? Is this what I can do?
I mean, technically you can. It just wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I would immobilize it. I mean, okay, so the thin particle tank. This is the 2-click version I'm dealing with, right?
You bet.
All right.
This is not going to be hard points for you, my friend.
No. Leadership's not going to do much. Yeah, so I will perplex with Doctor Strange and Billy Batson on the attack on the Undertaker, because I believe the Undertaker has a 4 damage. Yep. And he has a whip, but you don't. I can't do anything to you in that matter because you're.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll. Oh, Alex Wilder. What am I not allowed to use?
I'm going to say no perplex.
No perplex. Okay, so I'm within 4 squares of an enemy character, so I'm going to use. So perplex is on the attack. Alex Wilder is going to sidestep to here. Undertaker is now going to make a close attack on the tank. 13 on 17?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I mean, Jason things have happened.
But not this time.
Okay. So.
Good tank.
And there's no sudden...
He just punches a tank and it just explodes.
I love this.
This is the stupidest and best.
It's if only Rusev was in that tank.
Machka! Love you, Amber. Love you, Amber, on camera. I said it. There it is.
Well, you
I'm going to sidestep with the Undertaker to here. Undertaker is going to take a free action with the extra specs and choose stealth.
Ooh. Stealth, in addition to being on his top flex, but he is really hard.
Yeah, really hard to see him. Okay, ID cards left. You have Jean Grey still, Beast, Wolverine, and Harley Quinn.
Right.
Black. Okay, so 70 points is Mandarin. 60 points on the other guy, but he's got an action token, so you won't be able to do it. And how many points is Black Widow?
35.
35.
Oh, 35. Okay.
You'll score an extra 5 if you can.
I don't think that's coming up, but for now, I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. I've already sidestepped it there. I think the Wendigo is just gonna be there. This Wendigo is actually gonna move to here, and come on, give it to me. Oh my gosh. People must be hurting right now watching me try to do this with everything that's going on my computer. I should reopen the Patreon just so I can get RAM. Billy should probably get out of where he is. You know what? Billy's fine. I'm going to stay there. I'm perplexing up. Already perplexed. Go.
Okay. Top of my turn, I'm going to go with Spin and Remaker. And I know everyone put their hand for surprise. There, you can still shoot at me. Out of meetings, so I guess I need to do something. For now, I'm going to go spin remaker. I'm going to use spin to go to this square, and for now, then I'm going to use take a free action with Mandarin, choose perplex at my own defense. I'm also going to use Black Widow perplex to increase the Mandarin's defense. And I'm going to clear the team.
Sorry, that was 2 perplexes on the Mandarin's defense?
Okay. Yeah, double perplex on the Mandarin's defense, and he's remaker and spin.
All right. Too far for leadership? Should have spin ringed myself over there. Can I do that to myself, or does it have to be another character?
You can do it to yourself. I did twice now. So I better. So I hope so.
I hope I'm not cheating. He says. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can go 1, 1, 2, 3 to there, and then start here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, and then, or I could just go. One of the things I just feel I don't get out of this is like the way I mark things. Go here, so there, and then drop there. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's not gonna work. Cause man, I don't remember these stats well enough. I must be the most riveting player to have to watch.
It's okay. Like you're not. This is the way games goes, right? You got to take a little bit of time to figure it out. And it's still comparatively early days.
Remember how badly I played last week. So,
and you won.
So this is clearly a step up, Jay.
All right.
What does that tell you about your opponent?
I'm going to use TK because I got to remember the spin ring gives me that with Sheriff Strange on the Undertaker. This is going to work the way I think it is it? Because
I like the way he it's a placement power now, so he really will just appear.
Yeah. The lights go out.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Top of the turn, lights go out.
Yeah. Lights come back on, and the Undertaker is here.
Oh my God!
So if I put it there, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I don't even know what. Give me a. I swear, I was totally ready for everything about this, guys. 100% prepared. It's okay. It's 10, so I do get 5 movement out of it. I just can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could single target signal, and then, but where I am there, so I have to sidestep to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm still within the 4, and then I can nimble out if this all goes according to plan. So I believe I'm sidestepping here with the Undertaker. I'm going to call in Storm here, and then is there something stopping this from? No, okay.
No, it's just bad placement by me.
I mean, I'm kind of going with bare stats here, so unless 1, 2. Alex, what's your movement? It's pretty shitty, isn't it? It's like 7. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is Alex Wilder not allowed to use?
Let's see. You're going to need a 6. I'm going to say no. Perplex.
No perplex. Okay, then Alex Wilder can stay right the hell where he is. Whatever.
What's that taker token that you just put on him for the call-in, or is he making?
Yeah, she's taking a token right now for that call-in. There it is.
Keep track.
And then one.
This is the student, not the Cerno student. This is the storm that could die, which is why you need your nibble to keep getting away.
Yeah. Because if she's here, I'm just at the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. Okay, so I'm going to go for the running shot pulse wave, single target. And yes, I will be knocking you back.
You bet you will.
All right, so we're going to roll those 2d6. And
Yeah, 11
X
plus 7, 18, which is a hit. I will prob it with AJ Styles.
All right.
It's still a hit, sadly. And there's nothing I can do about that, I don't think. Nope. All right. Sounds like death for the signal.
Yep. Okay, and then I will nimble. Tick, 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 tick. And that will get me into poof ability. And all right, look at all these wounded tokens I'm getting.
That's a fair point, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. You're winning without needing them, so that's something.
And then so my Undertaker will just stay out there.
My Undertaker, you nerd.
What's up?
You're calling it my Undertaker.
The Phenom.
My Undertaker.
My Undertaker will stay there.
Oh,
Oh yes. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
are we gonna get an earn special object?
I would take it.
Only when we get the Paul Bearer manager figure.
Right, that'd be great.
I better get it.
Wait, with like Paul Bearer, like 2 words?
Yes.
Yes.
His name was
Oh.
Paul
Yes, his
Bearer.
name was Paul Bear. Fantastic.
Stop trying to get me into wrestling. It's working.
We got him, guys.
You're getting me there.
Dude,
I
I gave you a playlist.
And the problem here is that the right move is not at all the move I want to do.
Yes, it worked.
I mean, what I want to do is TK AJ Styles forward and then use lightning speed to go and attack the Undertaker. So it's AJ Styles versus the Undertaker.
I want you to do that.
I know you do. It's not, however, what I am going to do.
Do it.
What I will do is, it's very tempting.
I almost kind of want to just throw down the gauntlet and say, I'm done using ID cards. It's time for AJ and Undertaker to fight it out in the boneyard.
Oh no! There's always time for ID cards.
But yes, I
figure out.
I figure it's only fair to let you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's promising for AJ. That's a oof.
I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's see. What was that within there? And so move, which is fine. Deal with Black Widow. So let's go with Remaker and Spin. I know. Feel free to be as shocked as you'd like to.
My God, what is he doing?
And I need you to go there. You're going to be 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to TK AJ to get the line there.
Yep.
Right? Oh, no, wait. AJ was here, so you can't go there.
Oh, yeah, AJ wouldn't be able to see the square, would he?
Yeah, he would not. He would not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can go to that square if I want to. And I do my whole snap to center shtick. Snap to center again. There. Clear. That was not clear. That's clear. Going to be able to get a prob. If I don't go further. Better. I can see that square. That'll do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, all right. And then
This poor floral colossal. I've just been slowly trashing it piece by piece.
there you go.
I've been making good use of it online, at least.
Yeah, that's what it's about. I will call in Beast with AJ Styles double power
Cool.
action. to pop. And I'm going to I'll call it Beast here because it doesn't really matter. You can make it either way. And it's going to be that square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Difficult to maybe difficult to choose Beast, but I think it's possible. You know what? I have to go with it. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't have to do this, but I'm going to have to go without the prod, which is a real shame. But it's what it has to be. I have to call in Beast there.
Okay, doke.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, sadly, that's the only way to do it. So instead, I will do the TK. Let's say to there. Drop off a Beast there. Black Widow. It's 1 action, 2 actions. Oh, another leadership. So in fact, my last action is going to just be all right. You know what? We're just doing it this way. Black Widow's going to here. Mandarin is going to here. This how this works. There. That's better. Black Widow will perplex up the beast's attack value, let's say. And you know what? I'm going to risk it for the biscuit here. Put Mandarin down there because he can go there and he can go there. All right. Perplex up beast's damage value with Black Widow. And Mandarin will take prob, and he will. Beast will go +1 to all of his combat values, so he's an 11 for 5 damage, charging at the Undertaker into this square. The action total for him, and he's 11 against your 18, I think.
Yep.
Okay, needs a 7. My dice roller is frozen. There it is. It gets a 7.
It's for
Hits for 5, so you'll take 3. And now we will spin ring AJ to there, which will proof Beast. And that is a Beast ID card that you score, which I will put down here. And that is an action as well. That's it.
okay.
Go for it, dude.
Cool. I believe I am sidestepping the Undertaker to here.
Oh.
What's that?
Nothing. I was muttering to myself incoherently.
Okay. If I spin to here, 1, 2. Mandarin has energy shield, correct?
You're correct.
Okay.
And toughness if it matters. And if you have the armor keyword, then I can ignore your defense powers. But I also chose Remaker, so I've got shaking. That actually might be valuable rather than just be being.
What is Alex Wilder's no-go?
I'm going to say no go on the perplex front.
No perplex, okay.
Seems like I actually win every time.
If I put him there. So I sidestep to there. I can. No. So you said no perplex, so I gotta get Billy out of here.
You don't get blood in the water for Undertaker's damage, dude. It's only my guy.
Only when an opposing character takes damage from an attack. I believe. Spell of fish. Only if a character.
Spell of fish.
When an opposing character takes damage from an attack, give that character a wounded token. If they don't have one, when a character heals, remove their wounded tokens. What I could do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't get, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still can't get close enough with the chart on when to go. So I would have to get some damage first. Because then that would give me sidestep. Yeah, then I'd be able to. All right, so it really hinges on whether or not I can get this damage off. So I will spin ring 1 square to here.
Side note. Good ring great.
You said no perplex, so I'm going to call in Cyclops. That's going to go there. And then Doctor Strange and Billy Batson are going to perplex up Cyclops' attack. So this is going to be an action token here. It's a red action token this turn. Okay, so that's +2 attack on Cyclops. One, two, three, four. So running shot. Give me a second.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wrong one. It's this one. 2, 3, 4. No, he's here. And I will not be able to see him there with Alex Wilder. So Alex Wilder needs to be 1 square over. 1, 2, 3. Why not? Let's take the 1 square movement here because you said no perplex. Which gives me prob. 1, 2, 3, 4. Targeting Mandarin with Cyclops.
Where did you actually call Cyclops Mandarin?
What's that?
I thought, didn't you originally
Oh
call
yeah,
Cyclops
sorry. Cyclops is where Alex Wilder.
Alex is Mandarin.
Yeah, I'm moving your Mandarin. You're in.
Wild Mandarin.
You're in hindering.
Yes, I am.
Did you use a Nightbringer ring?
Yeah, I did not.
No. Okay.
I would have mentioned it.
Cool.
I will get the hinder bonus, but yeah.
What's Black Widow's defense? Nah, fuck.
Just
I don't want.
17.
Whatever.
Stealth, so you
Yeah.
have to think about where I'm going a little bit.
So actually, I think Wilder has to go into the stealth here. No, I'm still not going to get it. All right, whatever. Let's go without the prob, YOLO. So I guess 13 attack on whatever your defense is.
Yeah, my defense will be 21, and I have shape change, which I will roll for you now.
Yeah.
Which I succeed at rolling.
All right. Do I have that?
You have the line to Black Widow for sure.
No, I don't, because
no,
she has stealth, right?
The hinder.
Yeah. All right, cool. So then Cyclops sidesteps to there. And then he goes. And that was fun. And by fun, I mean, God, I suck at this game.
No.
1 square there with Alex Wilder. And Nimble. No, not Nimble. Yeah, I'm going to Nimble 1 square up with the Undertaker to here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 with the Cyclops. So I'll... Oh, wait. Sorry, it's only 3. I'm going to put Billy in front of the Undertaker here.
Okay.
Poor child. What the hell?
He knows his pot. Aside from that, that's my turn.
You think your turn was basic. I am going to choose Remaker and Nightbringer.
Uh-huh.
I am going to lay down smoke underneath Black Widow and AJ, and I'm going to choose Perplex up Mandarin, Perplex up Mandarin defense, Perplex up Mandarin's defense using... Black Widow Perplex her own defense, and everyone else is going to clear. So I'll do the smoke thing while you're taking a turn. But they're so to say that one is in hindering and the other 2 are in smoke, and that's all we have to do.
All right.
Everyone else is-
I'm going to roll leadership with Doctor Strange while you're doing that? Or Sheriff Strange?
do your thing.
Nope. Okay. Free action for Alex Wilder.
No perplex for you.
No perplex for me. No perplex for me. Do 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 dee 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 tree lee lee lee
No
lee.
perplex for me. Hey!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I can get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Perplex up the movement twice on the Wendigo.
Okay.
He's going to charge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here using flurry. First one on the Mandarin. Let's see if I get it.
It's just normal old charge flurry.
Charge flurry.
Did I choose Remaker this turn? I believe I did.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
Remaker.
and
Yeah.
you don't have-
Bringer, right? Or something like that.
Oh, yes. Yes. So, ship it.
Oh,
Cool. Thanks for that, Tom. For
Problem.
reminding me why I hate that power.
Yeah. Shape change. Ouch.
I could do that, and then what are my ID cards I have left? I could 1, 2, and then nimble. So if I'm here, 1, 2, 3, and then he starts here. 1, 2, 3, 4. What the hell? I'm going to sidestep to here. Then I'm going to choose nimble, go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, that's not going to work. Sorry. Take you backsies.
Yes.
I'm going to sidestep to here and choose stealth with the Undertaker.
Mhm.
I'm just going to clear everybody else because this is just not going to be a good turn. Do her up.
All right. Thank you. I wish that I had some better idea, but I don't. And I won't be able to get any damage off there. So, okay. AJ Styles is finally going to actually make an attack. At the beginning of my turn, I will choose demonic.
Demonic
Demonic.
Ring. Okay.
Thank you, and Remaker. AJ is going to use lightning reflexes. He will just go 2 and make an attack against Wendigo. So his attack, I believe, is an 11 on your 17, requiring a 6. I will roll a 7, so that should do it for a Wendigo. And I will use my 2 move to get back to where I was. Actually, I need to see the props. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to perplex up the Mandarin's attack value using Black Widow, and I will use my perplex on Mandarin's defense. Mandarin's going to make an attack using Energy Explosion on Billy. That's penetrating Energy Explosion in hopes of getting it off on the Undertaker there. So we'll see what happens here. Let's roll the dice and find out. It's an 11 plus critical hit. Nice.
Well then.
So that will knock Billy back and KO him off the stop
Sure.
click. And Undertaker will just hit the stop
Yep.
click. And does he take 1 extra or no?
He can't be knocked back because of the big guy.
Yeah, okay. So he just goes onto a stop click then. That is action tokens for those 2, and that's my turn. A bunch of defense with Mandarin.
That sucked. I guess critical hits will do that to you.
Yeah.
Alright.
And that is midnight.
Yeah, that's midnight, and you Undertaker wins. The tank and the signal were more value than the sum of your team. So, given a few more turns, maybe I could have got some work done. But failing that, I mean, I still couldn't. It was still going to be a while before I could Wolverine because one of my 2 guys had to clear, and I would have to get clear. So I couldn't do it next turn, and then subsequently I could choose spin, TK AJ up so that Wolverine can get called in and try to do some charge flurry and finish off Undertaker. But that all requires my guys to have lived that long, and they may not have with a storm forthcoming and everything. So I think you have the advantage.
This Wendigo here was like the worst placement I made the whole game.
I think you missed a couple opportunities to just spin the one
Yeah.
to go up. Like that terminated charge, you could have just spun instead of perplexing.
I also placed the tank badly. I should have placed it over Billy as well because that 2 damage would have been good. Knocked him out of his stop pick and made him easy pickings for him.
Oh, good old
Anyway.
game. Good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Gives us
Team
something.
Team Undertaker won, as I'm sure he will on the weekend. We'll see. But
The
I expect so.
boneyard match.
What's the over/under on that?
I mean,
It's
it's
a
hard to
WrestleMania
know.
match with the Undertaker. If your name's not Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar, you're not winning.
Yeah, that's more or less how that goes.
That was more of a pun than anything, but
Oh.
whatever.
They're not going to do the retirement shtick. Like they're not going to do the last match shtick for 2.5 years. If that was ever in the cards at all. So
Sorry, we went wrestling nerd on you because you were trying to pun.
I'm just trying to have some fun, okay?
There you go.
anyhow, that was fun. I appreciate that. Good game.
You made me earn it.
Next time it'll be phenomenal.
I would call that game a phenom, as it were.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's
God, just stop.
we both
Stop.
had teams that kind of wanted to just move out a bit, use call-ins, and keep their distance. Next time, hopefully, we'll try to create two teams where maybe the styles clash a bit more.
Oh, well, I mean, you did such a number of me. Some of my characters just left as a streak of blood. All right.
Good night, everybody.
I'm so glad you're.
Everybody
I
is
can't.
sick of our puns. They will rest in peace. Everybody, thank you very much for joining us. I want to thank Mike, Tom, and Jay for being on the show tonight. It was a good old time. Special thanks to our sponsors over at MajesticCCG.com, the Apex Insiders for $3 a month. You get access to some of the great brains in the game of Heroclix, and then occasional wackiness for me, including that team that you just saw me play. I wrote up an article on that. It is missing the Jean Grey student ID. Apologies. I ask people to proofread, and they don't proofread for me. So, in any case, check that out. And of course, I want to thank everybody who's been watching so far. Check our community Patreon or Discord out. Our community Discord. Patreon is shut down. Community Discord. Check that out. And join in with conversations with people. Find some match up with somebody on Roll20. Get a game in, whatever you can. It's a great thing during this wacky time of our lives. And it's also a great way to get some practice, because practice will make your teams better. Stay safe out there, guys. Stay distant. Have a good time in the meantime.